Lewis, also Hove, and stations to Worthing should change and right.
Some Ralphs going just to set the mood, just to set the tone.
Burgess Hill, Athens,
I'm not wasting any time. We're not going to an intro screen. We're not talking about nonsense. All right, it's time. 100 players. Yes, the stream's an hour and a half late. I didn't realize how long this would have taken me. Not doing the players. I already had the players all mapped out. Putting this in a fucking Word doc. I actually didn't even think about it. Like, I had my top 100 players mapped out, and then I was like, wait a second. Then I was like, wait, I haven't like put this anywhere. Like, I haven't put this anywhere. Then I thought about doing a tier list, but then I was like, wait, fuck. Then I'm gonna have to randomly think of, this is all like 30 minutes before the stream was originally supposed to start. Then I was like, wait, that means I have to pull like a tier list idea out of my ass, and I don't have any ideas. So then I just did this. We have a top 100 players ranking list. I hate this song. What the hell? There we go. So we just have a Google Docs, 100 to 0. Going over my top 100 players, this NBA players, this upcoming season. 100 to 1. You aren't going to want to miss. Wait, how do you say that? You aren't going to want to miss this? Is that how you say it? That just sounds wrong. You aren't going to want to miss this. That is right, but you aren't going to want to miss this. You aren't going to want to miss this? You aren't going to want to miss this? You aren't going to want to miss this? Slightly unprepared, yes. I was very slightly unprepared. You don't want to miss this. You are not going to want to miss this. You don't want to miss this, is what it is. You aren't going to want to miss this? I feel like people say that though. But when you put it in writing, it looks stupid. You don't want to miss this. What player should I put on the front? Obviously, I'm fucking going Luka Doncic. Are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind? Are you absolutely crazy? You ain't want to miss this? No, I don't talk Texan enough for that. I don't use the word ain't. I hate that word. Let me tell you, you ain't want to miss this one. Let me tell you right now, you ain't going to want to miss this. I can't even do like a Texan accent. You won't want to miss this. Guess what? His glasses are fire. Yeah, I'm adding oh, Denzel, thanks for subscribing. I'm adding a bunch of new glasses to my collection. Let me go ahead and spam my tweet in here. Dorian Finney-Smith, Luka second, Luka first. I don't want to spoil anything. I watched some of the Nets Bucks, yeah. I actually watched the Pacers and the Knicks game, actually. That was like the game I watched mainly. The Pacers and the Knicks. Just wanted to see some stuff. My goal is to have merch at some point. But again, my merch is going to be cool. It's not going to be lame. It's going to be cool. My merch will be cool. It'll be like its own separate thing. Whenever it does happen, if it ever does happen. Does that make sense? What up, Riley? What's the deal with Compazzo? Is he here or not? I have no idea. The only real, like... Am I wrong in saying there's been no real, like, American sources on this? It's all been European sources, which... That's... I mean, they probably know more than American sources would know, but it's weird how we haven't gotten, like, an actual confirmation. Oh, God. My friend just sent me this. Using points gain offensive rankings with defensive rank predictions. Okay. Minnesota, Phoenix, Denver, Golden State, New Orleans, Lakers, Clippers, Memphis, Dallas, Sacramento. Wait, who's missing? Dallas is the 9 seed? Yeah, but what do the Bussy rankings say? What was the Bussy ranking again? Box score plus minus usage. Box score, usage. What do we have it again? Shooting. Yeah, I hate that Lakers team, man. Oh, God, I don't know. Russ is a terrible fit. I mean, he's just, no. It's just not going to work, man. I'm sorry. I don't see it working. All right, top 100 players in the NBA. We're here. I'm not going to waste any time. Like, we got to get into it. We have to get into this, or else this stream's going to be 5.5 hours. Not trying to spend too much time. To make this a little bit more interactive, I want you guys to chime in. Whenever I talk about a player, I want you guys to say too high, too low. All right, and obviously we're starting at 100. We're working our way down to 1. LeBron is the biggest dummy for taking him? Yeah. Capazzo's a great passer? Yeah, all right. Mavs draft has the Wolves as number 1 seed as well. They're not a bad pick for the 1 seed. You know? I mean, it's not like a bad trendy pick. And you also have to factor in the fact that they'll be like super motivated to win. They'll be a young team. What if I say you're too high instead? Horrible. Absolutely would not recommend. Ah. You have to pick one team out of Clippers, Nuggets, Warriors, Suns, Mavericks, Wolves, and Grizzlies. Only 6 spots. The real answer is injured team. Yeah. Really? Or Celsius is bad for you? I thought they were actually good. This fucking flavor sucks, though. I like the orange one. All right, I like how I said we had to get this shit started, and then immediately I'm just rambling on about Now I'm rambling on. Here we go. Let me just start by talking about my criteria here and what you can expect from this list. This is a predictive list. So the top 100 players in the NBA for the 2022-2023 season. I'm looking at this list as this is what a top 100 list will look like in May. This is what a top 100 list would look like in April after the season is over and we look back on the season. So it's predictive. I'm predicting some breakouts. I'm predicting some regressions. So keep that in mind, okay? Here are some of the things I really value. I really value creation. I do like it, right? I shit on bottom stop all the time, but I do appreciate a bucket getter. Like, it's an important thing. I appreciate perimeter defense, wing defense, versatile defenders. I value that pretty highly. I value really good role players, okay? So I might put a really good number 4 on a team over like a okay number 1 on a bad team. Does that make sense? It's not all about numbers. It's not all about points per game. It's not all about efficiency either. So it's just, I don't know, vibes mainly. It's just vibes mainly. Let's start with my number 100 pick. There are 3 rookies on this list. Number 99 is a rookie, or number 100 is a rookie, and this is buying into the hype. This is buying into the hype majorly. This kid has not looked bad at all at any point since he's been drafted. Not in summer league, not in preseason. You talk about a pure bucket getter. This guy is a pure bucket getter. Good defensive instincts. I mean, he's going to be a really good player. He's on a bad team. He's going to get his chance to shine. I worry about his coach. His coach doesn't have the best track record with rookies, but he's just too good. And this is all hype. Benedict Mathurin. That's right. This is where I'll plant my hill. I want my list to be a little bit different. I want my list to be a little bit different than everyone else's. So I want to plant a flag here. This guy's going to be really fucking good. He just is. And I think he's going to go into a bad team or immediately he's going to get a chance to shine. Big time, dark horse, rookie of the year candidate right here. He is not, I mean, not only when I say like he hasn't looked bad at all at any point this preseason, he's looked really good. Just not just for a rookie, but in general. I mean, the end of that game last night was insane. He had that steal and then that little windmill dunk. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So, I mean, let's think about some of the players that he's like, let's think about some of the players that he would be over, right? Just so you guys are understanding, like, who's in this area. We're talking like Grant Williams, Kyle Kuzma, Boyan, Brandon Clark, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Cameron Johnson, Lauri Markkanen. You know, these are the guys in this area. Is it that crazy to say Benedict Mathurin can't be better than them by the end of the season? I don't think that's crazy at all. I have him at 100. 99, I have Colin Sexton. I got to get him in here, right? I mean, coming off an ACL injury, sure, but I still think he's a top 100 player in the NBA. I think thinking otherwise is a little bit insane. A pure bucket getter, can score efficiently. I think he's going to put up some pretty gaudy numbers, honestly, in Utah. I really do believe that. But he's still a top 100 player, I think. Right on the cusp. I have to factor in the fact that he hasn't played in a year. But he's still there. Never Mavs legend, Colin Sexton? Yes. Too high? Honestly, don't think he's top 100. I mean, around this area, I feel like once you get to the 60s, like everybody in the top 60 or top 70 is in everybody's top 100 list. But in this area, it's just what you value. It's what you value, what you think is important. Shot creation is an important attribute to have. It's an important skill to have, and Colin Sexton is good at it. So that's why he's in the top 100. Eaton, thank you for subscribing. He's not that efficient. He is pretty efficient, though, considering his volume. I think Colin Sexton deserves to be in the top 100. And remember, this will be at the end of the season. You think Colin Sexton's going to be putting up enough numbers by the end of the year? 98, Kevin Porter Jr. This one was hard for me. Because I think he has to be on here. But I hate his role, but he's too fucking talented. He is too fucking talented. Do you want to know? Let me just say this. Kevin Porter Jr. defensively is actually better than a lot of people think. Do you want to know that he's one of the very few players in the NBA to be in the 90th percentile or higher in defensive versatility and matchup difficulty? Like, the Rockets were throwing him on other teams' best players defensively. And his offensive, he's too talented offensively. He doesn't need to be a point guard. That's not his fault. All right, that's not his fault. He shouldn't be a point guard, but I can't blame him. I think I have to put Kevin Porter Jr. on here. 97, Terry Rozier. I mean, he's just good. Like, Terry Rozier is just a good offensive initiator. You know, he's a good scorer. Well, nobody's going to agree with like this area. Like, the 90s are weird. This is just where you put guys. You know, like, I didn't even think too hard about the 90s. I'm just throwing guys in here. I like Terry Rozier. He's a good player. He's a good scorer. 37% from three. Can create his own shot. Can catch and shoot. Can play off ball. Terry too low? No, I don't think he's too low. Like, once you get to the 80s, you're like, holy shit. The NBA is stupid stacked. Next, I have Mitchell Robinson here at 96. I mean, he's a good center, right? I think ESPN rankings had him way higher than this. I don't know. I can't go that much higher than him, than this. Like, foul trouble. And offensively, he's just, he's just an alley-oop guy, right? Can stretch the floor vertically like nobody else. Great rebounder. His, like, true shooting numbers, like, the greatest of all time, I think. I'm pretty sure Mitchell Robinson has the greatest field goal percentage season out of anybody in the history of basketball. I could be wrong on that, or at least he did at some point. But obviously, a great rim protector. You value that stuff. Cooked food on the perimeter usually, but it is what it is, man. He's one of the elite rim protectors in the league. 98th percentile rim defensive field goal percentage. 97th percentile blocks. Just a good defender. That's just it. Terry greater than Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson is elite at what he does, though. Kevin Porter Jr. greater than Robinson. Well, then you guys got mad at me for even having Kevin Porter Jr. on here. Wait. Oh, I was scrolling the wrong way. 96, 95, Seth Curry. Have to have him on here, right? Elite shooter, great offensive player, horrible defensively. Got to factor that in, man. You can't just be as bad defensively as Seth Curry is and not get penalized for it. But I like Seth Curry, fantastic shooter. I feel like every team that he leaves is like, once he leaves, the fan base is like, okay, it's all right. Like, Seth Curry was so bad defensively, it's cool. We didn't need him. And then fast forward a couple months, we're like, damn, we really need Seth Curry shooting. Every single team he's ever left. Think about it. Every single team he's ever left, that has exactly been what's happened. I remember during the The J. Rich trade, we were all like, oh, that actually could be an upgrade because Richardson defends and can shoot, so it's going to be all right. Like, Seth Curry didn't defend at all. And then a month into the season, we're like, fuck, we need Seth Curry. And I know Sixers fans thought the exact same, even though they got Harden. But Seth has to be on here. Again, defensively, though, it's just icky. 94 is Herb Jones. Had to put him on here. His defense is way too special. Way too special. He needs to get better offensively, shooting-wise, and I think he will. What is there to say about Herb Jones? That has been said a million times. One of the best defenders in the league. One of, like, I think it's like five or six defenders, 95th percentile or better in matchup difficulty and matchup versatility. He's going to guard the best player. 99th percentile in time spent defending tier 1 offensive players. So, you know, he's an elite defender. Too low? How many players do you think are in the NBA? Where would you put Herb Jones? 94 feels fair. His offensive game's not there yet. It's too one-dimensional right now, but a fantastic defender, though. Norman Powell, slept on massively. One of the most slept on players in the NBA. I couldn't believe he wasn't on ESPN's top 100 list. Then I put him at 93, and I was like, okay, I can actually kind of see there's a lot of really good players in the NBA. But Norman Powell, I've always loved his game. I can't believe the Clippers got him. Like, that's just so dumb. Their team is so stacked. Norman Powell being your sixth man. Really good chance to win sixth man of the year. Really good chance to win sixth man of the year, I think, for Norman Powell. Love his game. Just kind of does everything offensively. Doesn't need the ball in his hands, but can have the ball in his hands. You know, does some interesting stuff defensively. Very efficient scorer as well. 97th percentile in points over expectation. He's a good player, man. I like him a lot. I've always loved Norman Powell's game. You can go back to when he was a free agent a couple off seasons ago. I was like, dude, the Mavs should get him. Powell like 30-something last night, right? Yeah, this is a good spot for Norman Powell. 92, Clint Capella. Man, people really don't like Clint Capella. I don't know what it is. I actually think ESPN had him higher than this. I don't know. We'll go back and we'll look at it here in a second. But I still like Clint Capella. Like, everybody's ready to write him off and put Okongwu in over him. I'm not really ready to get there just yet. Capella led the league in rebounds a year ago. But also, it's hard for me to judge the pick and roll guys. Like, it's hard for me to judge Clint Capella as a pick and roll guy when he has played alongside two of the best pick and roll ball handlers in the history of the game. Like, James Harden and Trae Young are in that conversation already. Like, they're that good in the pick and roll that it's hard for me to be like, holy shit, Clint Capella's pick and roll numbers are insane. Is it because Clint Capella's a really good roll man, or is it because he's just played next to guys who makes everybody around them good roll men? You know what I mean? But he's still a good rebounder. He's a good rim protector. He's making his way down and down and down. I think his career is trending downwards. But I will say this. It was a down year last year for him, but he was coming off of a surgery. Like, he had a weird offseason. I don't want to hold it too much against him. I think he'll be good this year. People forgot about Norman Powell after he got the big contract. Yeah, and he was on that shit Portland team and then got traded to the Clippers, and they just, you know, Kawhi was out and Paul George was out, so, like, they weren't good. Good spot. Overrated. Too high. You guys wouldn't have him at all. 91, Keegan Murray. There he is, the second rookie. He's just been too good. I'm sorry. There's just, if he plays, you know, obviously his numbers are going to go down a little bit when he plays against, like, top-tier NBA competition every single night. But if he keeps up this level of play, there's no way he's not a top 100 player by the end of the season. He just does everything. He is just such a good player. He is such a good player. And he's going to go to a situation in Sacramento where, like, they need him. They are going to try to win. Too low? I don't know if I can go too much higher on a rookie like this. I just don't know. Keep in mind, this is at the end of the season. Think back last year. Where would you have put the rookies last year in the top 100 at the end of the season? Like, would Scotty or Mobley have been the highest? I don't know. Maybe I am a little bit too low now that I'm thinking about it. Because I feel like Mobley and Scotty would have been top 60. Yeah, this will be fun to watch this year's draft class. I'm very excited to see what Keegan Murray has to offer. There's one more rookie on this list. And he's not too far away. I'm sure you guys know who it is. 90, Gary Trent, who I don't think was on the ESPN one, which is shocking to me. I always thought that Trailblazers fans overrated Gary Trent a little bit. Raptors fans overrate every single one of their players, so I don't look too much into that for them. But he's a good player, man. He has his ups and downs. Defensively, he's not as good as I think people would say that he is. He's good in passing lanes. He's good at getting steals. But he's a good, talented offensive player. Too high? Way too high? Man, you guys are just talking out of your ass. Chat, you guys wouldn't know your right foot from your left foot. Capella, Rob, Rozier, Norman, greater than? No. Trent's still younger. Those guys are all older. Those guys are all older and on the come down. I can't put Mitch Rob above him. I'm sorry. I'd rather have the perimeter player 10 times out of 10. I just would. Gary Trent closed out 90. 89, Derek White. I don't know. A weird player. I kind of feel gross about this ranking. I have no idea what to think about Derek White. I just won't even talk about him. He's here at 89. Good defender. I mean, offensively, it was ugly as shit at times in the playoffs. But I don't know. I am a bit of a sucker for like role players on good teams. I'll be honest with you. He's not top 100. You might be right. You might be right. He was a disaster on offense. But here's the problem, right? Do I take him off the list because he looked bad? You know what? You're right. This is a bad ranking. This is a bad ranking. Hold on. This is just for, we can go back. Swap with Norman Powell. Here we go. I think that's right. Let's get Norman Powell in this spot. Derek White, you are bumped down, my friend, to 93. Norman Powell, congratulations. You're in the top 8. You're in the top 90. I take Franz Wagner over Derek White. Franz Wagner is on this list. Okay. ESPN, that was malpractice for them not to have him on their list. He's on mine. 88, Jonas Valanciunas. He has to be on here. He was too good last year. Too good last year. Remember when he was leading the league in shooting for a tiny bit? But he's got to be on here. I'm very interested to see how this is all going to play out. He's not a good rim protector. Not a good defender. I'm very interested to see how this is going to play out next to Zion. But Jonas is a very good offensive player. A great rebounder. Fantastic rebounder. Really good roll man. Good post-up player, too. Like, he's just a good player. And just a fucking beast. You know, I'll be honest with you. I was looking at some film. I don't want to say I was doing film study because I don't do any of that shit. But I was rewatching Christian Wood games just to see defensively what's up. And I went to a Pelicans game. I watched one of their games against the Pelicans. Holy shit, Jonas was bitching him. Like, I'm going to be real with you. Jonas was just having his way. Jonas was having... Zubac isn't on this list. Jonas was having his way. We're at 88 and Dodo hasn't made an appearance yet? You really think I'd have Dodo this low? I mean, get serious. 87, Paolo, the last rookie. Paolo is the last rookie here. Bucket getter. I just think the nature of his game, it might be ugly at times this year, but he's still going to be really good. And his Jabari slander. Listen, I love Jabari. I really do. He needs a point guard right now. Like, his like offensive game, it's going to develop over time. But if he was on a team that had a legitimate point guard, it would be way different. No Jaden Ivey. I think it's going to be a little too... I think there's going to be too many, like, on and off nights for Jaden Ivey. I do like his game a lot, though, but it might be a little inconsistent at first, which is okay. Paolo feels like the easy pick, though, for Rookie of the Year, if I'm being honest. It's a boring one, but it's easy. Jabari on the Mavs would be disgusting, yes. I mean, he's going to be good for the Rockets, for sure. 86, Malcolm Brogdon. Only reason I even have him this low, I love Malcolm Brogdon, by the way. I absolutely love him. The only reason I have him this low is injury stuff. He hasn't played over 60 games in like 5 seasons or something like that. But he's a great defender, great playmaker, can create his own shot, get to the rim easily. Yeah, he's a 6-man. I mean, the Celtics team is stupid stacked. Like, he's a really, really good player. He just can't play. And if he was a consistently healthy guy, he would maybe be a top 50 player. I don't know. I don't know if that's going a little bit too far. But he hasn't played over 60 games since 2018, 2019. There you go. But here's some defensive stats. 95th percentile defensive versatility, 95th percentile defensive difficulty matchup, 74th percentile on-ball defense, 88th off-ball chaser, 88th ball screen navigation. 98th percentile is a pick-and-roll ball handler, too. I mean, what the hell? How is this guy a 6-man? This... Fuck. But I love Malcolm Brogdon's game. It's just injuries. It's just injuries. Here we go. Is this the first Maverick? It might be. I think it is, right? Wait. Fuck, I keep scrolling the wrong direction. Christian Wood is here at 85. I think this is a fair spot for him. I really do. I think this is a fair spot for Christian Wood, especially when you see some of the guys over him. Everyone says Christian Wood's the second best player on the Mavs. I really don't think so. It would be great if he was. But I'm just interested to see how this all plays out. I'm just very worried defensively. I'll just be honest. I am worried defensively. I hope for his sake, because if he buys in defensively and is good defensively, he's going to get a ton of minutes. He's going to start before too long, and he'll get a ton of money in offseason, whether it's from us or whether it's by the Mavericks or not. But I'm just interested to see how it all plays out. I think this is a very fair spot for him. He's the second most talented theoretically, but I can live with not Otto saying he's the second best. He's not proven that yet. Yeah, that's fair. Talent-wise, for sure, he's probably the second best, no doubt about it. But it needs to translate. It has to translate. If the Mavs want to be good, it has to translate. All right, 84, a very overhated player, I think, but a very, very good defender. A very important defender, too. And I value this. I really, really do value this. It's Aaron Gordon. I get he's annoying. I understand he's annoying as shit. But he is a great defender. He's one of the best defenders in the league. Very versatile defender as well. Can do a bunch of different things. Super important for that Nuggets team. So I think he belongs here at 84. I think that's fair. Plays well alongside Jokic too offensively. As like a occasional pick and roll roller. Post-up guy. Cut. Way too high? I actually think this is low, to be honest with you. The more I talk about him. Michael Porter Jr. is over him. Jokic made him look good. I mean, defensively, he is good. Jokic isn't making him look good defensively. Like that, defensively, he is good. Offensively, well, yeah. That's true too. He is a pretty good Luka stopper. Like he's one of the few actual legitimately good Luka stoppers. This next player, I have no idea what to do with him. Dylan Brooks, his offense is so horrible. Like it would be one thing if he was just kind of not a good offensive player, but the fact that he wants to be a high volume offensive player, it knocks him down a bunch for me. Like, it knocks him down a bunch. If he was just more of like, hey, I'm going to fit my role offensively and occasionally I'll do things if needed, then, like, he would actually go up. But holy shit, some of his decision-making is insane. Like, you watch him, you're like, what the fuck is he doing? And he'll have, like, the random one-off game where he'll go nuts. And he's a pretty good playoff performer. I'll say that, too. But he'll have his random one-off games where he'll go berserk. And he'll shoot, like, the most dumbass shot you'll ever see. And you're like, what is he thinking? Then it goes in, you're like, oh, all right. And I love it too, because he walks up the court, he's like, hell yeah, I made that shot. Are you kidding me? I'm him. And in your mind, you're thinking, oh, the next game he plays, he's going 1 of 14 with 4 turnovers. But defensively, though, he's really good. Like, he's a really good defender. So he was making this list no matter what because of his defense. But offensively, it's just so funny. He's an asshole scorer. That's a pretty good way to look at it, yeah. But I like Dylan Brooks. I mean, he's got that dog in him, too. It's kind of hard to hate him. He's one of those guys. I feel like God, I feel like you would love him, but also hate him at the same time if he was on your team. But not hate him for anything like he does, because he tries his hardest, he hustles, he defends hard. You love that. But offensively, it's just like, dude, please tone it down like 20 pegs. Like, please. You know so much about these people, what you do for your day job? I just fucking sit around in misery, writing about nonsense. But I also just watch a lot of basketball. And it's really the only thing I do in my free time is just look at basketball stuff. All right, next up, man, this player hurts me. I want to put him higher. I love his game. He is such a important piece and a valuable player in today's NBA. But holy shit, man, he just can't stay healthy, and his current injury scares me. That is Lonzo Ball. Obviously, if he was healthy, he's higher than this for sure. For sure, he's higher than this if he's healthy, but he's not healthy, unfortunately. So that's why. I mean, there's a very real chance he doesn't play at all this season. So that's unfortunate. But if he does play, you're getting one of the best defenders in the league, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. You're getting a very good shooter, a very good playmaker, just a fantastic role player in today's NBA. Would love him. Would love him on the Mavericks. Feel like I'm gonna run into you at double wide some night and lose my mind. I don't know what's double wide. I'm very bad with local bar names. I just know where they are and just go. Or like I'll meet up with friends like, hey, we're going to I'm trying to think. Some of the bar names are so fucking dumb. It's like, yeah, we're going to Zornoth's. And I'll be like, okay, sounds good. Have I been there before? They'll be like, yeah, you've been there 100 times. You don't know what that is? I'll be like, no, I don't know the names. No, I don't go to Bottle Blonde anymore. That was a long time ago. It's unfortunate, but I think Zoe's career is shorter than you think. His knees are weak. Yeah. We're going to Torchy's. I used to fuck up some Torchy's back in the day. Or not Torchy's. I always hated Torchy's. I always absolutely hated Torchy's. Fuzzies. Used to destroy some fuzzies. I remember one of the first times when I was like 18, we all, my like 10, we had like 10 people in my friend group. We all got fake IDs from the same place. They were all Oklahoma fake IDs. All Oklahoma fake IDs. We went into a Fuzzies. 10 of us in a row. A Fuzzies in Dallas. 10 of us in a row. 18 years old. And we look 18, right? Maybe, not me, right? Because I was 6'4". I had a fucking beard. Like, I probably looked 28 at the time. Show up. 10 of us in a row. Yeah, can I get a margarita, please? Okay, can I see your ID? We were all showing them Oklahoma IDs. They were laughing their ass off. Like, the cashier was like an 18-year-old kid, too. He called his manager. His manager was just laughing his ass off looking at the fake IDs. But they gave them to us. Probably should report them to the police. Only 6'4" that time? Yeah, I hadn't hit my growth spurt yet. All right, let's move on. Sorry. Oh, man, this next player, I don't know what to do with either. I hated his season last year. And he's the type of player where it's like, if that's what you're getting out of him, he's actually detrimental to your team. I know that he's been an all-star recently. But if what you're getting out of this player is who he is now, he's legitimately a detriment to your team. Nikola Vucevic. It's looking more and more like his shooting season a couple years ago in Orlando was an anomaly. He's a terrible defender. And it's just offensively. Offensively, it's just scary sometimes. I mean, it's just disgusting. That trade is so bad. That trade's just really bad. It just really is. It might haunt them forever. It really might haunt them forever. I'll be honest with you too. Russell Westbrook did not make this list. He's not on here. I wanted to, but I couldn't justify it. We only had 81. Well, I went on a tangent about fuzzies for some reason. All right, 81 is Nikola Vucevic. Let's move on to 80. Another Dallas Maverick, Spencer Dinwiddie. I feel like this is a fair spot for him. He's an inconsistent player. He just is. This year, if he is consistent, woo, that would be huge, right? That would be huge. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see. I think this is a fair placement for him. A hugely important player for the Mavericks this upcoming season. And obviously, he has the potential to finish way higher than this. And the Mavericks need him to. This feels like a low. This feels like a conservative placement for Spencer Dinwiddie this year. Capella and Wood greater than Vucevic all day. Wood greater than Vooch. Vooch was an all-star 2 years ago, guys. Like, It's not like Vucevic has been terrible his whole career. He was legitimately really good 2 years ago. Like, there's a reason why he went for the haul that he went for. Only number ranking I expect for Spencer is 69 for obvious reasons. Trying to look at who I have at 69. All right, it's nothing funny. All right, next up on my list at 79, one of the most overhated players in the league, Tobias Harris. Just solid as hell player. Worth $40 million? No. But a good player? Yes. Solid? Yes. 76ers fans hate him too much? Yes, they do. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. He was like pretty much one of the few good players on their team in the postseason last year. He is underrated. I'm sorry. Maybe not underrated. Overhated, though, most certainly. Not worth his money, but still a really, really strong and solid player who just plays his role, too. That's what I like the most about Tobias Harris. He's comfortable in his role. You know, he doesn't try to do too much. He understands that he's, like, at times the fourth or fifth guy on the floor, and he's cool with that. I just respect him. I really do. I respect him as a player. Tries hard, hustles, plays hard defensively. Might not be the best defensive player, but I feel like he's very much overhated. Speaking about hustle and trying hard, here's a guy who does not hustle nor try hard. Julius Randle. Another one of these guys where it's like, where the fuck do you put him? 2 years ago, All-NBA. Last year, a debacle. His play style is very similar to Russ, where it's like, if it's not working, it's a detriment to your team. And last year it was not working, and it was a detriment to their team. So can he go back to where he was 2 years ago? I don't know, man. If your nickname is Dubious Handles, like that, I'm sorry. That's one of the most crazy nicknames in the NBA. Dubious Handles. Come on. That's disrespectful. Always feel that Tobias should have been better than he is. Well, yeah, but he's still solid. I mean, he's making $40 million. That's why everybody hates him and shits on him. What do you guys think about this Julius Randle placement? I feel like it's really fair. I feel like it's a fair placement. Don't know what to expect out of him. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's terrible. You know? Randall went on a streak of like 24 plus points, and I bet on him during the Super Bowl and won $500. So I fuck with him. That's fair. I respect that. That's one of the few, that's one of the many great things about sports gambling, right? Gambling's fantastic. I don't agree. I don't condone gambling. But random players will become your favorite players because of gambling. Same's true for fantasy. Fair, but his ceiling will be higher than others ahead of him. That's very true, but his floor is way lower. So I feel like this is from top 15 last year. Nobody in their right mind would have put Julius Randle. I know, like, if you're all NBA, you're top 15. But technically, like, that's what the award is. But nobody in their right mind would have had Julius Randle in their top 15. Top 20, top 25, maybe. But yes, it dropped a while. 77, D'Angelo Russell, another very hated player. A hard player to rank, too. Like, there's definitely moments where it looks like shit. But, I mean, the numbers don't lie. The Timberwolves were way fucking better when he played last year. Like, that's just the reality. Not an efficient player. Horrible defender. But a pretty good... He's a pretty good floor general. Like, he just is. I don't know if I would say he's underrated, but he gets a lot of shit that I feel is a little unfair. RJ is on this list, and I struggled very mightily with his placement. But he is on this list for sure. I don't really have much to say about D'Angelo Russell other than what I just said. So let's just move on. We can't spend too much time on all of these guys. 76, Facu Campazzo. Just a really, I would say, underappreciated player in the NBA. He defends hard. He hustles, right? He dives for loose balls. He can pass decently well. And I don't know where the Nuggets are last year without him. Jamal Murray's hurt. Facu Campazzo steps up and really sort of helps them get to a 6th seed. I mean, not even a play-in spot, but the 6th seed. And everybody wants to joke and make jokes about him. But he tried his hardest. He tries his hardest. So I have Facu Campazzo here at 76. I honestly forgot I even did this. 76, I have Jeremy Grant. Another hard player to rank. This feels really low now that I'm looking at it. Like, let me just pull up ESPN's rankings. Where did they have Jeremy Grant? This feels incredibly low, but I actually don't hate it. I don't know. I just have such terrible vibes with this. Such terrible vibes with this Portland team. No Harrison Barnes. No, it's dude. There's some tough cuts, man. I'm sorry. There just were. Fuck. What am I doing? Where did they put Jeremy Grant? Let's see. 64. Okay, it's not that far off. He's way too high. Yeah, Campazzo and Jeremy Grant were tied neck and neck. So it's hard for me to rank Jeremy Grant because he's going from being the number one in Denver to being like a role player for Portland. So it's a hard to grade. It really is. It's hard to judge him. Last time we saw him as a role player for Denver, it was pretty good. Like, he defended well, and he just did his job really well. And him as a number one wasn't great. Like, it just wasn't very good in Detroit. I know he put up numbers, but it wasn't very pretty. So I think him going back to being a role player will be really good. I actually feel like this is a very fair spot for him, to be honest with you. Now that I'm looking at who's ahead of him, this is a pretty fair spot. 75 is Anthony Simons, another tough player to rank. I hate being that guy, and you watch Anthony Simons. I mean, he's uber efficient, right? He's a very good scorer, very good shooter. We know that. But a lot of his insanely gaudy numbers last year were on just the worst Trailblazers team you'll ever fucking see in your life. So it's like, I don't know how much stock I want to put in that. He got a bag this offseason, so the Blazers believe in him. He's the 99th percentile in shooting talent, 98th percentile shot creation, 98th percentile in shot making. So he's an incredibly good shooter, a pretty good playmaker, pretty good in the pick and roll too. I mean, really good. 99th percentile pick and roll ball handler. I like Anthony Simons. I feel like this is a pretty fair spot. Bad defender. I don't know where else to put him. Next up, we have our last Dallas Maverick for a while. I couldn't go any higher than this for him. I wanted to, believe me. Dorian Finney-Smith. Keep in mind, Dorian Finney-Smith wasn't even on the ESPN Top 100 rankings, which is a joke, obviously. Dodo, one of the most versatile defenders in the NBA. In fact, statistically speaking, him and Wesley Matthews are the two most versatile defenders in the NBA when it comes to matchup difficulty and matchup versatility. Dodo was in the 99th percentile in both. One of only two players that have that distinction. Just a great defender, right? The best defender on a top 7 defense. I mean, the best defender hands down. Like, let's be real. Like, it's not even close when you look at the defensive, the best defensive players on the Mavericks. And just a gamer, man. He just does everything you want. Like, he's a perfect teammate. He just does every fucking thing you want a non-star player to do. He shoots, right? He's unselfish. He knows his role and he plays his role well. He hits huge shot after huge shot. He guards the other team's best player no matter who it is. He'll even go up against a center. Like, you go back and watch some Nuggets games. There are moments where Dorian's in the post against Jokic. Does he get cooked? Sure, but Jokic cooks everybody, so it's whatever. Hustles, rebounds, gets back on defense, hits big shots, screams, yells, talks shit to the other team. I mean, holy shit. I love Dorian Finney-Smith, man. One of my favorite players in the history of basketball. Seriously. That's how much I have grown to love him. I feel like Reggie and Maxey are better than Derek White. Oh, man. See, I was really trying to not be too homer on here. Like, Reggie as a top 100 player is pushing it. I'm going to be honest with you. I love him a lot. Great role player. Locker room guy, all NBA defense, and 41% shooter from 3. Yep. He should honestly maybe be higher than this. He's got to be on here, guys. He's got to be decently high. He just does. He was pretty good in Washington. Okay? He was pretty good there. Wish him the best. But he's got to be on this list. All right? I feel like this is a fair placement for him. Let's just see where ESPN put him. Remember, ESPN had no Kristaps Porzingis at all. All right, I'm sorry. Oh, my God. Wow. ESPN had him at 86. Holy shit. Okay. I'm sorry. I can't do this. I'm sorry. I just can't do it. Okay, Dorian Finney-Smith's a spot higher than him now. I can't do it. He's got to. I'm sorry. just on principle alone. Moving on, Michael Porter Jr. at 72. Another one of these guys where the idea is better than what we see on the floor. Now, granted, we haven't seen him on the floor. That's really what it is. His shooting numbers are fucking nuts. Like, they just are. He's an insane shooter. He's looked great in the preseason. 98th percentile in shooting. This was 2 years ago when he played almost as close to a full season as you probably can for Michael Porter Jr. 79th in creation, which is insane because he's 6'10". 99th in shot making. Not a good defender. Not a great defender. Has the tools, I guess, to be an okay one. But it's just wait and see mode with him, you know. Fred's on here. JB's on here too. Guys, if a good player hasn't been listed yet, assume he's on here. But here's where Michael Porter Jr. is. I mean, it's a wait and see thing. Obviously, his ceiling is stupid high, but there's always the injury risk. Keldon is not. I had zero idea where to put Keldon, so he just didn't make it. OG's here at 71. This might feel low, but I swear to you, the idea of OG has not met reality yet. Like, it really has not. I want it to badly. And there's been flashes from time to time, but we have not even gotten close. We have not even gotten close to the idea of OG Anunoby, like actually meeting reality. Still a great defender, though. Like, there's no doubt about that. A fantastic defender, OG is. 100th percentile in defensive versatility. He's all over the fucking floor. Great defender. But man, offensively, it just isn't where he was in the first percentile in isolation points per possession. One singular first. That doesn't mean first place. That means fucking last. That means 99% of the NBA was better than him. Give me a long streak. No, I need to pick up the pace here. 71st percentile, or 71 for OG. That's fair. Would love for it to be higher, but it's just not there yet. And he really, you'll understand when we get, like, you're gonna start to see how stupidly stacked the NBA is. 70 is John Collins. Not my favorite player, honestly. There's just a lot about his game that I'm just like, about. But he does what he does very well. He plays off of others. I mean, he plays off of Trey, but he's a good catch and shoot guy, an insanely good pick and roll man. Great finisher at the rim. Great finisher above the rim, obviously. 100th percentile is a pick and roll man. 74th percentile in spot ups. 95th percentile in cuts. Just really good around the rim. Him and Trey have a great connection. Not a very good defender, but I mean, this just feels like where he goes. I don't know. This is just where I feel. I don't have much to say about him. At 69, I have Sabonis. Oh my God, I have no idea what to do with this dude. No idea what to do. Offensively, yes, very talented. For a big, his passing, it's pretty special. For him, his passing, very special. Like, if it weren't for Jokic, he'd probably be the best big man passer in the league. But I don't know. I mean, he's getting benched in Eurobasket, guys. He was getting benched in crunch time at Eurobasket. It just scares me. His defense is bad. That's what really worries me about the Kings. Like, how do you build a team around Sabonis considering his defensive shittiness? But you can't deny how good of an offensive player he is, and how good of a rebounder he is too. Just a difficult player to rank. It really is. It's really hard to feel great about those bigs who are like really good offensively, but horrible defensively. T-Rex arms, yeah. For a big, he has very short wingspan. He's not that bad defender. Kings defense was terrible and actually improved with him. Well, that's a pretty short sample size. 68's Wendell Carter. This was one of the more egregious. This was one of the more egregious no-shows on the ESPN Top 100 list. I mean, Wendell Carter's got to be there. He absolutely has to be. If this were a best contract ranking, he's number one. He's on the best contract in the NBA. But incredibly versatile defender as a big. Can defend the paint, right? Can protect the rim pretty well. Can hold his own on the perimeter. Can switch out on guys. Just a good all-around offensive big. You know, pretty good passer. Can stretch the floor a little bit. Good rebounder. He's just a really good player. Like a really strong, solid player. Wendell Carter is. He's going to cost like $10 million in 3 years. Yeah, that contract is stupid, man. They hit a fucking grand slam with that contract. He's not all that. I mean, I got him at 68. He's not like a top 50 player. Yeah, top 10 in screen assists if you care about that stuff. I love me some Wendell Carter. 67 is Miles Turner. Another player that, I don't know. I've always not liked as much as everybody else. But you can't deny his shot blocking ability, right? You just cannot deny it. One of, if not maybe the best shot blocker in all of basketball. 99th percentile in blocks, 99th percentile in rim protection grade, 94th percentile in contested shots, 96th percentile in rim defensive field goal versus expectation. Good shooter, stretches the floor. We know that. I don't know what it is. I don't think he's good on the perimeter. His offensive game is a little bit annoying sometimes. But you can't deny like how good of a defender he is, how impactful of a rim protector he is. Pacers were 6.7 points better on defense when he was out there. I like Time Lord more than both these fellas. Oh, Time Lord's on here. Health is a thing. And I don't know. His offensive, I don't know. There's just something, if I just don't know what it is. I'm going to be real. I don't know what it is. And his freedom's on here. 66 is where I have Tyler Hero. I just feel like this is fair. He's a bucket getter. Don't get me wrong. 3-level scorer. That's fantastic. Horrible defender, though. You know? That's just where it is. And his freedom is 76, Tyler Faku. Yeah, they're in the same tier. But it feels like every big has health issues except Pal. I mean, your body's not supposed to be 7 feet tall. Hero at 66. This feels like a fair placement. Looney did not make the cut on this list. I just couldn't do it. All right, here we go. 65. I can't believe. If you were to ask me a month ago, there's no way I would have thought this guy would have even made my list. And now I have him decently high at 65. Let me see where ESPN had him. Just to see if I'm like going a little too crazy. All right, I have him much higher. Remember, this is a predictive list. Josh Giddey at 65. Josh Giddey at 65. I'm really starting to see it. I am. The preseason, I've watched pretty much every single Thunder preseason game. I just love their young talent. Jang and J-Dub. I love them. I've loved watching them. And holy shit, man. It's pretty hard to deny what Giddey's doing. Like, it just kind of is. From Summer League and preseason, it's kind of difficult to deny what we're seeing from Josh Giddey. It is a complete 180 from me. No. Not one preseason game. After the Summer League, I was like, hey, all right, Giddey looked pretty good, but it was against Summer League guys, so I'm not going to look too deep into it. But the preseason, I don't know. He looks better. Like, offensively, we know the passing is there, but his finishing, he's got a nice little floater, a nice little run game. That looks better. He's pretty good at getting to the rim. That already looks better. And his shooting has looked much better. Much better. And if all of that comes together, it's going to be pretty nice, man. He's going to be a good player. You can't look at any of his numbers from last year outside of like maybe the playmaking stuff. I mean, he was an 87th percentile isolation scorer last year. There you go. That's not bad at all. But if you look at some of his other stuff, 0th percentile in shot making. I actually didn't even know 0th percentile was a thing. I thought it just ended at 1st percentile. I didn't know 0th percentile existed. So there you go. But you can't look too much into that stuff. Last year as a rookie. Ben Simmons is here. I couldn't leave him off, man. I think he's actually coming up very soon. Here's where RJ is. RJ's at 64. I do see it. I do see it. Are we going to get it? I don't know. I do see it, though. I do see it. I've been a bit of an RJ, I wouldn't say RJ hater, just not as big of a believer as Knicks fans. I'll say this about Giddey. He makes me go back and appreciate the 80s all over again. His game is pretty fun to watch, too. Like, Giddey's a pretty fun watch. It's got to come together for RJ. I don't give a fuck that he scored 20 points last year. Terrible efficiency. Like, I'm going to be real. I don't really care that much. It's got to come together efficiency-wise for him to ever really take a leap. But I can't I can't overlook his defensive stuff. Like, I really can't. I can't sit here and say how much I value, like, defensive versatility and then not give RJ a ton of credit for how versatile he is as a defender. So that's why he belongs here. There is the offensive upside to pair alongside his defense. Like, he's got to be here. Hold on, I'm getting a call. Just got off the phone with Mark Cuban. You guys aren't going to believe what's about to break in a couple of hours. Here we go. Here we go. Let's talk about it and let's really discuss it. Let's talk about it and let's really discuss it. I got Klay Thompson here at 63. Oh my God, slightly. That's it. That's egregious. That's way too low. No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm sorry. Nope. His defense is bad now. Like, it just is, and I don't see it coming back. His shooting will always be there. His off-ball stuff will always be there unless he forgets how to walk. But I'm sorry. What made Klay was his defense, and it's gone now, I think. That's just how I feel. That's just how I feel about it. ESPN had Klay at 37. That's stinky. No. I don't like that. That's horrible. Ben Simmons is not better than Klay. I would rather have Ben Simmons. And I'm just being honest. Kyle Lowry at 62. He's getting older. Last year was a bit of a disappointment. Still overhated. Why you need to defend yourself? Pretty sure there's no K-pop fans here. Listen, I don't even want to go there. All right? I don't even want to go there. The things I've seen K-pop fans do to people on Twitter, I don't even want a part of it. K-pop, I love you. I love all your songs. You're my favorite band. Please. Kyle Lowry at 62. A little bit of over-hatred after last season. Yes, he's a little bit older. Sure, he's trending down. $30 million a year. Is he worth that? Who knows? But still a great playmaker. Still just a very good floor general. You know, I would like Kyle Lowry on the Mavericks right now. I just would. I think he'd be a nice little piece, a floor general, right? Still a pretty decent defender for his size. Sure, some of the scoring stuff is frustrating from him, but it's not like he was ever a super high volume scorer or anything like that. He hates us since we didn't have a friend for him here. Who, Ben? Okay. This one seems high. This one feels high, but you got to hear me out here. At 61, I got Big Al. It's shocking that I have him this high, considering where he was like in the offseason a few years ago, where he was just kind of on the Thunder and he was just off the Sixers, which was a disaster. Then he goes to Boston and is one of the most important role players in the NBA. One of the most important role players in the NBA. Like, it can't be stated enough how perfect Al Horford is for today's NBA. The way he looks on the Celtics. All right? I don't know about any other team because it seems like he only really shows up when he plays for the Celtics. But we're talking about statistically, look at all the stats, one of the best defenders in the NBA. All right? Versatile, protect the rim, switch out on the perimeter, is great there, and just kind of does his thing offensively. He's still a good passer for a big. We know that. We've always known that. And he was hitting huge shots for them in the playoffs. They don't make the finals without him. So he's at 61. If the Celtics didn't make the finals, is he down low? Yeah, this is winning privilege, right? This is pretty privilege. I'm going to be real. Al Horford's a pretty man. So he's up higher. 60. DeAndre Ayton. This is some hater. This is some hater agenda here. I'm going to be honest. He should probably be in the top 50, but this is some hater agenda. I don't know. He's at 60. He's just so soft sometimes. He's just so baby soft. So baby soft. I'm sorry to say it. He just is. It's actually maddening watching him play sometimes. If I were a Suns fan, I would be so angry. And then there was this report yesterday that the Suns didn't even want to pay him, but they were like, yeah, I guess we have to. Like, the Suns had no business and or didn't want to pay a center $30 million. He's at 60. Also a fellow Dominican. I like seeing Horford do well. There you go. Slightly hating? Exactly. I'm sorry. It's nothing against him personally. Here we go. This was actually, I said Wendell Carter was the most egregious omission. No, this guy was by far the most egregious omission. It almost leads you to think maybe they just actually forgot about him. It's not impossible that ESPN just kind of forgot about this guy. Franz Wagner. I can't believe he wasn't a top 100 player. This guy is a perfect wing in today's NBA. He's a perfect wing in today's NBA. I love what he does. I love what he brings to the table. I don't see a world where at the end of the season, he's not on a top 100 list and isn't ranked pretty highly on that list. You know what I mean? He's got to be on everybody's list. I can't believe he wasn't on theirs. He just literally does everything. Defends well, creates for himself well, off ball well. Literally does whatever you want a player to do. And really like an all-star potential for sure. Yeah, Brunson's high on my list, man. He just is. Jared Allen at 58. This actually feels low. I'm trying to think why I have Jared Allen at 58. It feels low. We'll have to see who's ahead of him. This feels really low. I don't think you'll have a huge statistical jump because of Paolo. Isn't Wagner the guy Luka calls trash? You're thinking of Mo Wagner. Franz Wagner is his brother, and from what I understand, there's not a lot of beef there. I'm trying to think why I have Jared Allen this low. I think part of it was, I think the Cavs were the first team I plugged into my rankings. So a lot of them were an afterthought. But great rim runner, great rebounder, great rim protector, obviously. Just kind of does everything you want him to do. The Cavs defense was 4.2 points better when he was on the floor. 8 and under Allen? Yeah, what about it? Jared Allen is good as what he does, but that's just about it. Yeah, I guess that's true. Sin, thank you for subscribing. Allen is one of the best traditional centers in the league. I do agree. Here's where I have Brunson, by the way. Listen, man, I think he's going to be really fucking good this year. I just do. I see it. I can't deny what I saw from Jalen Brunson. I can't deny what I saw from Jalen Brunson in the playoffs and what I saw from him, the entire season last year. He's such a good player. Like, he's just such a good and smart player offensively, knows exactly what he wants to do with the ball and does it. Very rarely does he make a dumb mistake. Very rarely does he do something that makes you scratch your head. He's just a good, super solid player. I think he's going to be really good in New York. And there is a pathway for him. I think he's the best player on the Knicks. To me, that's not even a debate. I know Knicks fans will be like, no, it's just RJ Barrett. It's not. Okay. It just isn't. He'll be back in Dallas after his contract runs out. That would be nice. I would love that. But love me some Jalen Brunson, man. I mean, his post play for a guy his size makes 0 sense. Makes 0 sense. But you guys know I love Jalen Brunson. An all-star nod is really not out of the realm of possibility for him. 56, Marcus Smart. I'm really not a huge... I mean, Marcus Smart's defense is great, don't get me wrong, but he's not the best perimeter defender in the league. He's not the best point guard defender in the league, right? That title belongs to Drew Holiday. His offense is just so disgusting sometimes to me. Like, this might feel low for Marcus Smart, but I understand I'm not as high on him as a lot of other people. So I'll just put that there. Not as high on him as a lot of other people. I respect his defense. It's incredible. Like, it just is. I'm glad you're not a Mavs fan that calls him bad after he left. I mean, what would I do? Like, you know how fucking stupid that is? I have like literally thousands of hours of me live talking to a camera where I'm like, I love Jalen Brunson during the season. So it would be stupid for me months later to be like, yeah, he sucks. I do think people are like overestimating how bad the loss is going to hurt the Mavs. Smart would be a perfect fit. next to Luka at point guard. Yeah, he would be a good fit next to Luka. I mean, he's just a solid, very, 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 very great role player. If Marcus Smart is your third, fourth, fifth best player like he is on the Celtics, you're feeling really, really good about where you're at as a team. Okay? You're feeling really, really good. And there's people who probably are going to be really mad that I have Ben Simmons ahead of Marcus Smart. Like, Celtics fans would probably shit their pants. I don't even know if there's Celtics fans on this channel. But Ben Simmons, I can't. I've always just had a thing with him. I don't know what it is. I've always had a thing with Ben Simmons. Like, it's just, defensively, it's 100% there. He's quite possibly the best defender in the NBA. Like, I don't, if he's on the floor and playing, he might be the best defender in the NBA. He does everything. He is the Luka stopper. And I use that. I gauge that. Nobody can stop this man, but Ben Simmons is the Luka stopper. Luka cannot figure out Ben Simmons more, like 90% of the time. Way too low, 3 times All-Star Defensive Player of the Year candidate. It's not too low because he's coming off of a year of not playing. And the last time we saw him, it was terrible in the playoffs offensively. He was broken. He was a broken individual. He was Ben the broken, okay? So I can't, like, bump him up too high. And you'll understand when we get to the top 50, man. The players are really fucking good. Like, anybody in the top 50 can make the All-Star game. It's just all about injuries and stuff. But I do like Ben Simmons, and he definitely has potential to be way higher than this, but also maybe a little bit lower. I don't know. 54 is where I have Andrew Wiggins. This is my biggest. I mean, ESPN had him at like 20 something. Andrew Wiggins, it was egregious. 32. That's too high. That's too high. That's not true. You do get over the yips. You can get over the yips. Very different stakes, obviously, but in softball one year, I got hit in the eye with a fly ball, bled everywhere, had to get stitches, horrible. Couldn't leave my house for a month because my eye was swollen shut. And for like 2 years, I was terrified of the ball. Then I got over it. And now I'm the highest paid player in my softball league. I'm a multi-million-dollar contract. Yeah, oh God. Taco, how do you show up right when we get to Wiggins? How the fuck do you show up right when we get to Wiggins? How do you show up right when we get to Wiggins? Did you get an alert on your phone? I need to know. This is a fair ranking for Wiggins. I really feel like it. Once you see who's ahead of him, it'll all make sense. Wiggins benefits. Yeah, Wiggins does benefit. I mean, he's a great defender. I'm not going to look over that. One of the few defenders in the NBA in the 90th percentile in both versatility and on-ball defense. They were 12.7 points better when he was on the floor in the playoffs. I don't know if that's playoffs or regular season. This is a fair ranking, okay? He is the 4th best player on this team. 3rd, 4th best player on this team. This is as fair as it's going to get. Yeah, I remember the fucking Luka poster. 53, Tyrese Halliburton. Love me some Tyrese Halliburton. Absolutely love him. Fantastic offensive engine. I love what he does offensively. Uber efficient. Should actually shoot more. Like, that's really his thing. And he's getting in Indiana this year. He should. Right? I mean, I know you have, like, Buddy Hield for the limited time he's going to be there. Miles Turner for the limited time he's going to be there. Mathurin's going to get his shots. Chris Duarte, I guess, will shoot a little bit. But Tyrese Halliburton should be given a green light to shoot. Like, that's always been his thing. He just is a little too unselfish with the ball sometimes. But a great passer. Could lead the league in assists. One of those guys at some point in his career. Might lead the league in assists. Love me some Tyrese Halliburton. Nothing else to say other than that, really. Robert Williams, Time Lord, here at 52. Just way too good of a defender to have him any lower than this. Way too good of a defender to have him any lower than this. Am I concerned about his knee injuries? Yes, this guy's always hurt. This guy had how many different injuries during the playoffs? Like 17? Like every injury, there was a bunch of different... Every game, there was a bunch of different injuries. I can't have Halliburton over Fox. You know why his nickname's the Time Lord? Was it because he was late to things? I'm trying to remember. But he's just an incredible defender in today's NBA, right? Can protect the rim, can hold his own out in the perimeter. Really the defensive anchor for this team, even though I know they have Marcus Smart and everything, but I mean, his rim protection, 78th percentile on-ball defense for a center. That's insane. 78th screener mobile defense, 77th rim shots contested, 98th blocks, 100th percentile in rim defensive field goal expectancy, 96th percentile in rim points saved. An insanely good defender. Good rebounder, good rim runner, right? Didn't he lead the league in true shooting last year? Wasn't that him? He been space and time. Yeah, he was late his first practice. Yeah, that is why. I didn't know that. So shout out to Robert Williams, man. Shout out to Time Lord. Hopefully he heals up and he gets healthy. This is where I have Jalen Green. I wanted to go higher than this. I'm going to be honest with you, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't have him over the trio of guards I have coming up. But this feels like a fair one. I mentioned yesterday when I was talking about the Rockets in my Western Conference predictions, I predict a jump from Jalen Green, but not the jump yet. I do think we're going to see the jump from him where he's like a superstar at some point. I just do. His scoring ability is just too good. It is just too good for him not to make that big jump at some point. Superstar might be a little bit much. Star. But I don't know if we'll see it this year. That's the thing. We'll see a jump for sure. He's looked great in the preseason. He was really good to close out the year last year. What was his numbers towards the end of the season? I don't know. It's hard to look too much into that because, you know, teams are tanking. Teams are resting guys, whatever. But 21 points per game on 47% from the field, 40% from deep over the last 28 games of the season. Really good year to close things out. He got an all-rookie year, right? He was on the all-rookie team. Yeah. Wasn't he? I'm thinking of RJ Barrett, who wasn't on the all-rookie team at all. I totally forgot about that until I saw Knicks fans talking about it. RJ Barrett didn't get put on either of the all-rookie teams his rookie year. And like Terrence Davis did. Kendrick Nunn did. But shout out to Jalen Green, man. I like his game a lot. I really do. He's just super, super talented. I was joking when I said yesterday on my last stream that he's going to score 30,000 points. But I don't know, man. Maybe. 50. Jaren Jackson. This feels a little bit low, but trust me, I know what I'm doing, okay? Knee injury coming into the season, a little bit spooked by that, right? But there's still so many frustrating aspects of Jaren Jackson's game that this just has to be where I put him currently. The fouling stuff is still an issue for him. It's improved, but it's still an issue for him. Shot blocking is incredible. We know that. Defense, it's incredible. Shooting, it's okay. It's okay. I feel like the idea of it is better than reality. It feels like the idea is better than the reality. I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes to his shooting. And holy shit, his shooting form and everything is so gross to me. But it goes in sometimes. It goes in. But you got to respect him. Top 50, that's nothing to scoff at in today's NBA. That's really fucking good. It's just, there are a lot of really good players in the NBA. 49 is where I'm going. Tyrese Maxey. Part of me wants to put him higher than the guy directly ahead of him. We'll have to have a discussion about it and think about it. Yeah, this guy's good. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. This guy is disgustingly good. Uber efficient scorer. Uber efficient shooter. 45% on catch and shoot. Plays off ball. Can play on ball. Offensively. Defensively, it's bad. But offensively, that's too low. No, that's not too low for Tyrese Maxey. I'm sorry. I can't go higher than that for Tyrese Maxey, dude. Whenever you start to see who's ahead of him, it's just like a third option on a team. I can't bump over some of these guys. There's no way I'm putting Tyrese. I have Harden pretty high, by the way. I'm not ready to give up on Harden. Have you ever thought that Maxey's maybe playing well because Harden is a very good facilitator? Halliburton greater than Maxey? Okay, you have to understand, like, this is kind of why I like tier lists more, because where do I have Tyrese? Oh, fuck, I'm spoiling stuff. Where do I have Tyrese? Oh, I have Tyrese Halliburton only a few spots. Like, they're probably all in the same tier. You know? They're all in the same tier. I love Tyrese Maxey. Again, top 50, there's no disrespect to anybody here in the top 50. Like, there's no, like, oh my God, you have him at 48, you hate him. No, I don't. That's actually a good placement. I really like him. I like Tyrese Maxey a lot. Is Jordan Poole better than him though? Man. These two are like literally, I could not figure out who to put higher. I could not figure out who to put higher. I think I have to go Jordan Poole. It's really tough because it's like his efficiency stuff is crazy. But it's like he's playing on one of the better teams in the league. But I can also, like, Maxi's also a third option. Alongside, like, one of the players who draws more attention than anybody in basketball, in Joel Embiid. I like Jordan Poole, man. He's a great offensive talent. We already know that. 96th percentile as a shooter. 86th in rim creation. 98th as a pick-and-roll ball handler. 98th off screen. No, Maxi's not a good defender. How big is the difference in the defense between these two? They're both not good defenders. Hero should probably be in this tier. I don't think so. Can take a hell of a punch. That's true. Stephen A said he got knocked out, though. Poole has a ring. Yeah. I mean, if Maxey was on the Warriors, he'd have a ring, too. These two being right next to each other, it had to happen. I knew that going into it. I was like, Maxey and Poole have to be one, like, literally this one spot below or ahead of each other. Honestly, I like Wiggins more than Poole, but that's just me. I like the offensive stuff way more from Poole. Like, I respect Wiggins. Defensive ability and stuff. I mean, they're barely separated, so it's not like I think Poole's way better or anything. But the offensive upside for Jordan Poole is way higher. And again, remember, this is a predictive list. This is a predictive list. Where do you have Mann? Terrence Mann's not on this list. Unless you're talking about Trey Mann, who's also not on this list. There's just no way Terrence Mann's a top 100 player. Evan Mobley at 47. I actually wanted to have him higher. I think ESPN had him in the 30s, if I'm remembering correctly. Here's the thing. Let me look at Mobley at 36, yeah. Here's my thing with Mobley. Defensively, he's going to be amazing. I still think offensively, it's not going to be there yet. I think it will get there. He has all the tools. But I don't think it's going to get there yet for him to be like a top 30 player. Whenever you have like really good established offensive talents and two-way players ahead of this, I couldn't go higher than this for Mobley. That does mean I have two Cavaliers higher than Mobley, which, I mean, it's pretty remarkable that their team is this talented. And then you have Jared Allen right behind him. But I feel like this is a very fair spot for Mobley. You guys agree with me there? 47? I mean, that just feels right. If he was playing center offensively, he would be a lot better. Yeah, he's just still finding his way. He's still finding his way as a player, which is perfectly fine. Hey, man, if this feels high for Bane, I don't care. I love Desmond Bane. If it were not for Steph Curry, this is the best shooter in the NBA. Okay? He's such a fucking good player. Like, oh my God. He is such a good player. There is just, if the Grizzlies are good again, there's no way he's not considered. Which fourth? If he's not, if the Grizzlies are good again, there's no way he's not considered a top 50 player. I think if we had Bane, as we should, we probably simply win it all last season. Yeah, Bane is an incredible number 2 option. Plays the number 2 role very well. Can shoot with next to zero space, which is insane considering his wingspan. That's how insanely quick his release is. 99th percentile in shooting, 99th in shot making, 95th percentile off screen, 97th percentile spot up points per possession. This guy is just an insane shooter. An insane shooter. And a good defender, too, on top of that. And a dog. I would love to have Desmond Bane on my team. Fuck, he should have been on my team, man. CJ here at 45. You got to respect CJ. You got to respect CJ, man. Great offensive player. Great offensive player. Looked actually pretty good as the point guard in New Orleans. I have no doubt in my mind that Bane would have filled it in the second score gap on more minutes than any other Mav in those playoffs. On more buckets? Oh, nights. I was trying to figure out what that was saying. Think we could have traded that Trader Brunson for Halliburton? That would have been kind of sick. I do remember those. I have CJ here at 45. 44, Mikal Bridges. I mean, just a very rare breed of a defender. He's got to be here. He'll always be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. Every year of his career, he'll be in that conversation. And a pretty good offensive player in his own right, too. One of the best transition players in the NBA. One of the best transition guys in the league. 1.33 points per possession in transition. I mean, his defense, his wingspan. Look at his fucking wingspan. That's insane. A very rare breed of defender. Great defender. He belongs here. Nothing else to say outside of him. You know, everybody knows who he is. DeJounte Murray at 43. Is this too low, you think? You missed JB's old haircut. Is this too low for him? I mean, God, there's so many good players in the league, though. I have DeJounte here. I mean, ESPN had him at 42, actually. Okay. This is perfect. Not enough Mavs. Where's my son Hardy? I had like 5 Mavs. Like, that's good. I feel like this is a good placement for DeJounte. And just right, he's had an all-star year and he's getting really good, but I think that's fine. Yeah, I think this is fine too. We have to factor in that a lot of his numbers were on a terrible Spurs team, right? I don't look too deep into that, but that is a thing. He's a good defender. He's just a solid player. Everybody else on this list is really fucking good. All right, so this isn't too low. I have Jamal Murray a step above him. I think Jamal is a better player than DeJounte Murray when healthy, for sure. Jamal would actually be higher on this list if it weren't for the fact that he was coming directly off of a ACL injury, and I have to factor that into the equation a little tiny bit, right? Surprisingly, a good defender. There was that year where he was like, the NBA released Defensive Player of the Year ladder or something like that, and Jamal Murray was on it, and people were shocked. Do you guys remember that? That was a hilarious day on Twitter, I remember. But I mean, a great offensive talent. We know this. Injury side, still waiting on Jamal to put it together and be an all-star level player, which he can do. Yeah, he can definitely do that. He's that talented of a player offensively, and he's a great playmaker, but you just don't really see it because Jokic is there. Like, there's part of what makes Jamal Murray so good is that he can be the number 2 guy and be cool with it. You know what I mean? Like, that's part of what makes Jamal Murray as good as he is that he's, like, cool with being a number 2 guy, and you have to respect that. 41, De'Aaron Fox. I know this is a little bit higher than probably some people would have him. Like, let's see, where did ESPN have him? Fox. 54. The breakout's coming for him. It just has to be. It has to be. Let's look at his numbers after the Tyrese Halliburton trade. He averaged 28, 4, and 7. 28, 4, and 7. Those are kind of insane numbers on 50% shooting and 36% from 3, which is crazy because he shot like 20% before the trade. Was Murray's bubble run a fluke? I don't think so. I mean, shooting numbers went up in the bubble. Like, that just is what it is at this point. We need to accept that. I love De'Aaron Fox's game. It has to happen. One of the best finishers in the league. One of the most prolific drivers in the league. Gets to the rim at will. Super fast. Good playmaker. Can play off ball. I feel like him and Sabonis, it's going to be pretty fun to watch over the course of a whole season. Like, De'Aaron Fox playing off of Sabonis. It's going to be fun to watch, man. This Kings team's going to be fun to watch. And if they want to get to where they need to go, like, it's time. De'Aaron Fox, it's time for the breakout. Too high? No, he's not. 40 is where I have Scotty Barnes. Really struggled with his placement. Really struggled with his placement. Like, I feel like this would be a pretty decent step forward for him. But I feel like that's possible. I feel like taking this step forward for Barnes is definitely possible. And if he does, the Raptors are terrifyingly scary. But his rookie season was special, man. He did things that you don't really expect out of a rookie. Defended every team's best player. Had the ball in his hands way more than I think people thought he would have, right? And was pretty good in that stuff, man. 88th percentile as a playmaker. 85th percentile or 67th percentile in isolation point per possession, which is fine for a rookie. Like, you love that. That's good. That's good stuff. 84th percentile in post-up points per possession. 91st percentile as a finisher. Like, he just did a bunch of things well. And if he takes another step offensively, superstardom's not out of the realm of possibility with him. It really isn't. And it's weird how, like, not too many people are high on him. Despite he won the Rookie of the Year in a stacked rookie class. I don't know what it is. I feel like a lot of people just look to discredit him. Next up is Fred VanVleet. Feels like a good spot for him. I mean, Fred is Fred, right? Big year last year. Shooting kind of off a cliff towards the back half of the season, but we know who he is. A prolific shooter. One of the best shooters in the league. For his size, a tremendous defender. Always towards the top of the league in steals, deflections, all that stuff. Perfect Raptor. Do I need to go into any more detail with Fred? Not a great finisher. We know that. But just an all-around great player. Barnes to be 8 to 15 in the league in his prime. That's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. All right, I need to speed this up more. 38th percentile, or 38th. Why do I keep saying that? 38th, I have LaMelo Ball. This feels low. But actually, I have him higher than ESPN. That's actually shocking. That is shocking. Okay, yeah. I mean, this is LaMelo Ball. We know that, right? Good offensive player, good shooter, good creator. Has a long way to go in a lot of different areas to become like a real elite player. But still, offensively, fantastic player. Joy to watch. It's LaMelo Ball. This is a good spot for him. 37, here we go. This is the highest I have a second-year player, Cade Cunningham. Gigantic believer in him. A huge believer in him. Has nothing to do with the fact that he's a Dallas kid. I'm just a huge believer in Cade Cunningham. Defensive upside is huge for him, and that's really going to be the make or break thing for him to be like a superstar level player. If he can really transform into a good to even great defender alongside everything he does offensively, yeah, it's going to be great for him. He's going to be a really good player. Really good player. You know, obviously as a rookie, there were some ups and downs, but 21, 5, and 6 on 53% true shooting after the All-Star break. You love that. Cade's been asked this preseason. I don't care. It's preseason. I don't care. He's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. He's going to be a really good player in this league. 36, Bradley Beal. Is this low? I mean, this feels low. I don't know what it is. I just have such bad vibes about the Wizards that almost all of their players like just kind of feel icky to me. Good spot. Yeah. I mean, he averaged 30 points per game. What was that, 2 years ago? Or 3 seasons ago at this point? We know who he is as a player, man. He's a fantastic scorer. He's a bucket getter. And when he's locked in a little bit defensively, it's okay. His defensive numbers are always terrible. Like, he's always towards the very bottom. Always towards the very bottom of every defensive metric. But you watch him play sometimes, and it's like, okay, he just doesn't try. Like, that's what it is. He just doesn't try. He doesn't try at all. But this feels like a good spot for Bradley Beal. Just an offensively a great player. Can be a black hole sometimes. I mean, it can be really frustrating sometimes. And you're exactly right. For a guy who can score 60 or 50 points on any given night, this feels low, but it also weirdly feels right. I guess that kind of speaks to him as a player. Let me explain myself. He is one of the best defenders in the history of the game. Let me explain myself. He is. And he's still an incredibly good defender. He's on a team that's just stacked top to bottom. Loaded top to bottom with defensive talent. And still, the Warriors defense is 9 points per 100 possessions better when he's on the floor. That's how good of a defender he was. Man, he was winning Defensive Player of the Year if he didn't get hurt. I'm telling you that. He was winning Defensive Player of the Year a year ago. He just was. Offensively, yeah. Listen, if he's not on the Warriors anymore and some team throws a bag at him, it's going to be a bad contract. I understand that. But as it stands currently, he's just good. Yeah, I've done a bunch of Mavs. I've done Christian Wood. I've done Facu Campazzo. I've done Dorian Finney-Smith. I've done Spencer Dinwiddie. Wiggins' defense is slightly worse than this, but his offense is way better. Man, like, Draymond is the defensive engine on a defense that's always like a top 3 defense. I'm sorry. He can run a half-court playoff offense and he's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Yeah, exactly. Like, you ask anybody who's around the Warriors, like, yeah, Draymond's like the most important player. I don't know if they're just saying that shit. Obviously, Steph's the most important player. But Draymond's skill set is incredibly valuable. Now, is it valuable on a lot of other teams? I've always said this. Draymond is not a floor raiser. Like, if you add Draymond to a bad team, they're still going to be bad. But if you add Draymond to a good team, they're going to be a very good team. You add Draymond to this Mavs team, they're going to be very, very good. Like, that raises their ceiling significantly. You add him to the Pacers, they're still going to be like the worst team in the NBA. Next up is BI. Just a good player, man. I mean, what is there really to say about BI? He's just fucking good. He's not tremendous. He's not, oh my God, Brandon Ingram. But he's just good. You watch him. Offensively, man, he's an assassin. Mid-range assassin. He's a bucket getter. I'm excited. I really am excited to see him. I know he was in the playoffs last year, but in like a, you know, competitive playoff run, I kind of feel like his game would elevate. I do. But it could go one of two ways. Big time wish list player for me. Yeah, Brandon Ingram would fit this team like a glove. There's a lot of concern defensively about him. That's just true. That's just the reality. A lot of concerns about his defensive ability and how that's going to mesh with Zion, with CJ, with Jonas. I mean, dude, they're just not going to play a lot of defense, huh? But I love Brandon Ingram's offensive game. I mean, how can you not? Wouldn't he actually be the first young player to meet expectations when comparing to legends? KD. I mean, he's not KD. At 33, here's my guy, Darius Garland. I think I remember ESPN's ranking of him being a joke. They had Darius Garland at 46, below CJ McCollum, below Tyrese Maxey, below DeJounte Murray, below who else? Below Fred VanVleet, below Clay this year? Seriously? Below Wiggins? No, just no. Just no, man. Absolutely not. This is where Darius Garland belongs, man. He's an elite offensive talent, man. And he's going to lead the league in assists one year. It might not be that now because, you know, Donovan Mitchell's going to eat into that. But I was listening to the Ben Simmons podcast. They really described it so well where it's like Darius Garland, he wants to be a facilitator. Like, he wants to be an unselfish player. There are times where he has to score. And that's actually helped him develop his game. And so now he's like a legitimately good scorer too. But his passing is unbelievable. A great floor general. Just so fun to watch. He gets to the rim at will, and then he like passes out of it. Crazy passes. Step back threes. He's fucking disgusting, man. Darius Garland is disgusting. 98th percentile as an isolation player. 94th percentile off screens. 89th percentile as a pick and roll ball handler. 100th percentile in playmaking talent. That is an elite offensive weapon right there. They have him lower than fucking Klay Thompson. 32 is Kyrie. Has to be one of the hardest players to grade, right? Has to be. Has to be. But when are we going to acknowledge the fact that it's been how many bad postseason performances in a row from this guy? When are we going to acknowledge it? We want to talk about like he's a superstar. When is he going to get like there are people who call Kyrie Irving a superstar, by the way. When is he going to get treated like one in the playoffs? Like when, okay, he's a superstar. Explain his dog shit postseason performances then. Like every other superstar has to do it. No, Kyrie's not in the Westbrook canoe. He's better than Russ. He's offensively, he's still as good as it gets. 100th percentile in isolations. 99th percentile as a pick and roll ball handler. 97th percentile as a finisher. 97th percentile as a shooter. Like he's an offensive. I mean, one of the better players you've ever seen, offensively. But he's rarely on the court. And then yeah, the postseason stuff. At some point, you got to ask, like, this guy's just not been very good in the playoffs over the course of his career, outside of 2016 when he was the second best player. Too low? I don't think so, man. Wait till you see who's ahead of him. 31 is Chris Middleton. Man, whenever I was doing my ranking, I was like, oh my God, there's no way Chris Middleton is this low. But this is just where I put him. Like, this is just where he had to be for me. I love Chris Middleton's game, though. Perfect Robin. Perfect second player. Perfect second best player. I'll maintain if we somehow traded for him this past offseason, he and Luka would have been insane together. I mean, I don't even take him down for all of the other shit. I do factor in that, you know, how many games is he going to play? And then, this is just where he belongs. I don't know. Great scorer and everything, but pretty much everyone above him does a bunch of different things. Like Chris Middleton. Good defender. We already know that. And offensively, (2-0). I know. I agree. I agree with you. Like, I wanted to put Chris Middleton higher, but I just didn't know where to put him. Let me tweet out that I'm entering my top 20. Yeah, Kyrie's. I know all of Kyrie's numbers. Trust me. Like, this is not easy. About to rank my top 20 players. Oh, man. If you guys are wondering in your head, did he do it? Did he do what I think he might have did? Let me just tell you, the answer is yes. All right, I'll give you a spoiler. I'm not saying what I'm thinking, but the answer is yes. I did it. And I don't feel any shame about it. Middleton is 31. Just turned 31. And he's about to be a free agent. Wouldn't take Kyrie on a pickup squad. Ranking Kyrie so hard because he hasn't really accomplished anything individually or with the team since he left Cleveland. It's also like, if I'm doing a top 100 player list, which is also predictive, which is like, this is how I think it's going to shape up by the end of the season, I have to factor in that Kyrie's probably playing 50 games. But I love me some Chris Middleton. Like, being 31 in today's NBA, that's nothing to scoff at. Yeah. Is Chris Middleton maybe better than Shea? Maybe. But you're out of your mind if you think I'm not putting Shea at my top 30. Okay. Shea's here. He's in my top 30. Incredible offensive player. Insanely incredible. You know, at some point, you might have to start considering the fact that he's a little injury prone. You know, how much of it is Oklahoma being like, oh, you stubbed your fucking pinky toe? Listen, man, you're out for the rest of the season. I don't know. But you at some point, is it shameless though? Is it shameless? 96th percentile in points scored per 75 possessions. 93rd percentile in points over expectation. Uber efficient score on a bad team with no spacing. 100th percentile in rim shot creation on a bad team with no spacing. He gets to the rim whenever he wants. He does whatever he wants. 100th percentile as a finisher. He finishes at will. Great finisher. Finishes through contact. Bends the defense. He only played 75 possessions? Fuck you. The 2018 draft is insane, yeah. It is insane. I mean, he's been one of the best isolation players in the league ever since he came into the league. 98th percentile on isolations point per possession. While being one of the most prolific isolation players in the league. So high volume, high efficiency. That's what you want to see. And again, on a bad team with no spacing. I think he played with the worst spacing in the NBA. And still, he was able to do what he did. Just an insanely good player, man. I love Shea. I absolutely love him. I hope we see him for the majority of this season. And if he plays, yes, I said Jonathan, if he plays a good chunk of the season before the All-Star break, I think this is definitely his year. It has to be. He should have got it 2 years ago when Mike Conley got the pity vote. All right, he should have. I will die on that hill. DeMar at 29. If that feels low, just let me tell you, man, it's not. Like, it's really crazy how talented the league is. It really is. I mean, he was insane last year. A career year at his age is insane. So you got to give him props there. Still, I mean, last year he was the best isolation scorer in the NBA. Still one of the best isolation scorers. Still a mid-range assassin. Still a bad playoff performer. It just is what it is, right? I don't want to put too much stock into that last year because that Bulls team stood zero chance against the Bucks. But DeMar, DeMar's great. What is there to say? DeMar over Chris? Is that crazy? DeMar is very weird to rank. DeMar's weird to rank because his production is crazy, but I take a lot of other players above him because of his play style. He's a very difficult player to rank, for sure. He will regress as hell and can't perform in the playoffs. I'd rather have Jamal Murray? I don't know about that. I'd rather have Middleton as a second option in the playoffs than DeRozan. That's fair. That's fair. But you can't, it's like, I don't know. It's really hard because I do really value playoff performance. But it's like, you can't just ignore what DeMar does in the regular season when he's like one of the most efficient, high volume players in the NBA. Night in and night out. Really hard player to rank. DeMar better. DeMar's in that Beal realm where I don't believe in them as a guy, but they got numbers and it's not always on bad teams. That's true too. DeMar stands need to accept that he isn't overall good. He's good. Like, he just is. He's a good playmaker too. I don't know. The playoff stuff is weird. It just is. I don't know. It's weird because his playoff style should translate, right? Like, you would think the slow, methodical, mid-range assassin type of play style should translate to decent playoff success. But it just doesn't. It just doesn't. This next one feels low too, but the playoff performance last year left a bad taste in my mouth. Hopefully it changes scenery, will change things here. Like, Donovan Mitchell's performance in the playoffs last year was horrible. I'm sorry. Like, it left such a terrible taste in my mouth. If he doesn't like lock in as a defender, he'll never reach what like it looked like he could reach early in his career, ever. But if he does lock in as a defender, the Cavs will be in the conversation as a contender, or at least like a fringe outside like dark horse contender while he's there. But I mean, offensively, he's a fucking monster. This is gonna be such a fun team to watch. I'm so interested in this team. So interested in what this team is about to look like. I feel like a decent Batman better than the best Robin. Well, yeah, because wouldn't a decent Batman turn into a great Robin? DeMar and this Mavs team would cook. Unfortunately, Cuban didn't see any vision. DeMar was on the market forever. Like, I can't go too hard on him for that. 99th percentile as a shooter. 100th percentile in three-point shot creation. 93rd percentile in rim creation. 100th percentile as a pick and roll ball handler. A lot of that has to do with playing alongside Rudy Gobert. But love Donovan Mitchell. Good player. Bad taste in my mouth last time we saw him. Speaking of Rudy Gobert, here he is at 27. Another very difficult player to rank. Another very, very difficult player to rank just because, we know what he does in the regular season every single year. He's a walking top 7 defense. He's probably going to either lead the league in rebounds or be right up there. His pick and roll plays are always going to be towards the very top as the most efficient plays in the league with whoever is at point guard. And that's going to continue. But he is in the playoffs. He gets exposed every year. Like, it's just another one of these very weird players to rank. You know, and it's not really his fault. That's how a real hooper sneezes, by the way. You need to scare everybody in your apartment complex when you sneeze. But this feels like let's make this picture bigger. I don't like how it looks. This feels like a good spot for Rudy Gobert. Right on the outside of the top 25. He has to be benched against any team that runs a 5-out. And again, that's not always his fault. But it is what we've seen. I have Gobert top 20. I couldn't get there with him. I'm sorry. I value perimeter players too much. 26 is where I have Chris Paul. I'm interested to see where ESPN put him. The last we saw of Chris Paul was disgusting. And it's not... Maybe that's not fair. Because he was still really good last year. But I'm a little bit spooked out by him. ESPN has him at 21, so not that big of a difference. Based on projection list, this is too high. I mean, I don't think Chris Paul is going to fall off of a mountain. But if he's the 26th best player, that's a bit of a drop off for him. I would say, like, if you were to do a ranking at the end of the regular season last year, Chris Paul's probably in most people's top 15. are around there. So this would be a pretty significant drop off. It's not like he's going to stop being an amazing floor general. Like, that's not going to leave him. You know, maybe some of the scoring stuff or the defense stuff, but the amazing floor general, it's never going to leave him. If it's projecting Garland and Shea over CP3, I could see the argument for that. But that, you're really banking on a massive fall off, though. I will say that. And listen, I'm all here to hate on Chris Paul. Like, I'm trust me. Like, make no mistake about it. I'm fucking here and ready for it. I'm scared I'll lose love for the stream once I see where you put LBJ. My LBJ. It's no dubious handles drop off. Yeah, that's very true. Like, dubious handles playmaking stuff was always like, what the hell's going on? It's not like he's gonna stop being a floor general. I feel like this is actually a very fair ranking. And you know what? Like, you guys are saying this is too low. I was giving myself pats on the back for having Drew Holiday ahead of him. Like, I was like, yeah, this is good. I'm gonna do numbers with this one. I'm going to do numbers with this one. And you guys are saying Shea and Darius Garland should go over Chris Paul? I love Drew Holiday. He's one of my favorite players in all basketball. Absolutely love him. He deserves to be top 25. It's really hard. Where do you put the Bucks guys? Is Middleton better than Drew Holiday? I mean, they're neck and neck, right? They're both incredibly good players. Drew is the best perimeter defender in the league. Hands down. All right. I know Marcus Smart won a defensive player of the year, right? But Drew is the best perimeter defender in the game. I mean, he's the best guard defender at least. Like, he's so incredibly good. A good night wing. He's a good night wing. I like that for Drew Holiday, actually. But he's also, I mean, the postseason offense stuff with him, I don't know what's going on. Like, 2 years ago, he was so bad offensively in their finals run, but he was still so valuable to them because his playmaking and his just insanely good defense. I mean, he had Chris Paul and Devin Booker in prison how many times? How many times? Granted, so did Frank Ntilikina, if we really want to go there. I mean, when you imagine a guy who can fight a screen to help Luka, the first thing you think of is Holiday. Yeah, I mean, Drew Holiday is... I wouldn't say Drew Holiday would be a perfect fit next to Luka. Drew Holiday is a perfect fit on literally any team. Like, he just is. Defensive playmaking, yeah, you're right. Getting steals, those steals leading into offense on the other end of the court. He's just a great player, man. And a good offensive player, too. And he, like, low-key had his best season of his career a year ago. And it's just... people just don't talk about him that much. It's really bizarre. I don't know what it is. People just... It's just like everyone's like, yeah, Drew Holiday's great. But it never gets talked about beyond that. It's never like, guys, Drew Holiday, holy shit. Like, we need to talk about him more. Luka cooks everyone. Man, I kind of wish I had Drew Holiday over the guy I have next. But I've been saying for a long time now, this is inevitable. Like, I know sometimes there are players where I'm like, whoa, this is big overhype. This is big overhype. This is big overhype. I kind of feel that way about RJ at times. I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of projecting here. It is inevitable for this guy. It's happening. It's going to happen. It absolutely is. There's just no way it's not. Defensive upside, incredibly high. Offensive talent, incredible. Dogging him? Yes. It factor? Yes. Vibes? Good. JB was at 56, I want to say, something like that. 57. I'm a Drew fan for sure, though. One of the players I'm happiest has a ring. Yeah, me too. It's happening for Anthony Edwards. It just is. Buckle the fuck up. It's coming. An explosive offensive player, can create his own shot. Good off ball, too. Good defensive instincts. It's all there for him defensively. It'll get there, right? He's already a pretty good defender. But give it some more time, and he could be a great two-way player. 41% on catch and shoot threes. 99th on shot creation as well. So creates his own shot, plays off ball, shoots well off the catch. 84th percentile isolation points per possession in his second year, man. In his second year. And over Kyrie a little crazy? No, it's not. No, it's not at all. It just isn't. Anthony Edwards has a two-way potential that Kyrie Irving really dreams of. At 23, you guys know I love Bam. I just do. Maybe it should be bumped down a little bit. But you guys know how much I love Bam as a player. Defensively, what he does is incredible. His versatility. Sure, there's a lot of frustrating things offensively. I won't deny that. There is. But holy shit, defensively, I said that this is actually exactly where ESPN had him. That's kind of shocking. The co-leader of my Mavs wish list, probably number 1 on my Mavs wish list. Made in the lab to play next to Luka. I'll always say it. He just was. Defensively, can switch on everything. I mean, can do everything you want defensively. Offensively, good pick and roll guy. Good passer for a big, especially in the short roll. But very frustrating offensive player sometimes. Very frustrating. But defensively, I know I said Ben Simmons is the best defender on the floor when he's healthy, and I actually still do believe that, but I think Bam's probably second. That versatility is just crazy. I love it. I love Bam. One of my favorite players. 22 is Pascal Siakam. I mean, at some point, you just gotta accept that this guy's a great player, right? ESPN had him at like 30-something. But at some point, you just have to respect the fact that this guy is fucking good. It's been how many years now? How many All-NBA teams has he made? Has he made 2? And I used to shit on Pascal Siakam. I used to think that contract was garbage. Yeah, 2-time All-NBA player already. And a 1-time All-Star. That's hilarious. Ew? No ew. No ew. Siakam is a great player, dude. Realistically, this should be number 1 on people's Mavs wish list. This next to Luka would be crazy. A guy who's cool at being a Robin, does everything defensively, great player defensively, offensively does a lot of things. ESPN had him at 30. Siakam is definitely disrespected. Can create for himself, can play off ball offensively, can play make for his size. Aside from Giannis, my wish list is Jaylen Brown, Bam, Simmons, OG, and Pascal. It's a pretty good wish list. 97th versatility as a defender. '84th percentile in isolation points per possession. 84th percentile post-up points per possession. 93rd percentile as a finisher. 95th percentile as a playmaker. A fantastic second half of the season for him. His play style translates to the playoffs beautifully. Love me some Pascal Siakam, man. Love me some Pascal Siakam. Definitely an under-respected player. Jaylen Brown is at 21, just outside of the top 20. This was the highest I could go for him. And this feels like a very, very fair ranking. This feels very fair for Jaylen Brown. The talk about him being the best player in the Celtics is egregious. I'm sorry. He's not. I get that sometimes he has his moments, but he's just not a better player than Tatum. But Jaylen Brown's a really good player, man. I mean, there's really nothing else to say outside of that. Good defender, versatile defender. Good Robin, who's cool in that role, right? Like, he's okay with it. I've never heard anything out of his camp that he's, like, mad about that role. But also can take over and carry an offense if he has to. We saw that in the playoffs from time to time. And it's also ugly sometimes when he's carrying the offense. We saw that in the playoffs as well. But just a good player, man. A great second player. Like, one of the best number 2 players in the entire NBA. Is he like the second best number 2 behind PG? Like, traditional second option? Like, do you consider James Harden a real traditional second option even though he's the second best player? You know what I mean? Is what I'm saying make sense? Like, you look at Jaylen Brown, like, yes, that's a number 2. Same way you kind of see Paul George now. Even though they could be a number 1, but your team's probably not that great. What up, Cred? But Tatum and Luka are in that age, talent level where they wouldn't want that. Oh, yeah, AD. True. That's super true. AD. Harden is a number 2 now. It's just really weird for me to put, like, point guards who have the ball in their hands a lot as a number 2. I don't know. Here we go. 20 Zach LaVine. I think he's better than Jaylen Brown. I think he's still just a stupidly good offensive player. Like, efficiency, volume, it's all through the fucking roof. Like, he's so talented offensively. Last year was a weird year for him because he was dealing with that knee injury for most of the season. But he still put up stupid numbers. Like, his growth and development, it really is one of the bigger success stories in the league. It really is. It always feels like with guys like LaVine who come to the league, like they're just insanely athletic, but kind of raw. It feels like very rarely. Feels like very rarely does it actually translate and work out. But, I mean, it did for Zach LaVine. Holy shit. Let's just look at some of his efficiency numbers, okay? 97th in points per 75 possessions. 86th in true shooting. So, volume, efficiency for a guard. I mean, you'd love to see it. 99th percentile as a perimeter shooter. 95th percentile as a finisher. We already know that. Great finisher. 97th percentile isolation points per possession. 85th percentile off of screens. 96th percentile as a pick and roll ball handler. 92nd percentile in transition. 99th percentile on cuts. This guy is just an uber efficient player, man. Uber efficient player. No, I don't think Ant's better than Zach LaVine right now. I just don't. If Ant made a jump where he's better than Zach LaVine, it's a pretty big jump. Or Zach LaVine kind of fell off, which I don't see happening. This has to be the lowest you can go for Zion. I'm sorry. ESPN had him at 40. ESPN had him in the 40s. There's just no way. There's no way he can be there unless you think he's going to be injured. Like, unless you're actually projecting an injury for him, you can't. You can't put him at 40. Yeah, ESPN had him at 40. Which, again, unless you're projecting he misses half the season, he can't be there. If he plays even half the season, he's already a top 40 player. Already. It's impossible for him to be lower. I have Zion lower, man. He doesn't play enough like Kyrie. He's better than Kyrie. I'm sorry. What we've seen from him, let's just look. When he played last, which I know is a long fucking time ago, but let's just look. 100th percentile in rim creation. 100th percentile in finishing. 87th percentile transition points per possession. 96th percentile as a pick and roll ball handler. 84th percentile as a pick and roll man. 98th percentile on post-ups. 97th percentile on ISOs. 95th percentile on cuts. 99th percentile on points scored per 75 possessions. 98th percentile on points over expectation. I mean, literally volume and efficiency we have not seen since like Shaq. Insane what he's done. Absolutely insane. And if he's healthy at all, he's higher than 40. He just is. There's no way he isn't. Zion's incredible without a doubt. I don't love the fit of him as much as projected other on Pelicans. No, I do agree. Like, people are really thinking that's going to work out flawlessly for people to have the Pelicans as high as they do. His injury history is definitely a little bit sussy, but Kyrie's uber efficient too, man. But Zion is just like a different breed. And there is defensive upside for Zion. There's not for Kyrie. What is the argument for Zion over Kyrie, though? Because Zion is a fucking freak athlete, first and foremost. He's a matchup nightmare for anybody. Anybody who guards him is a matchup nightmare. He is one of the quickest first steps in the entire NBA. Uber explosive, finishes above the rim with ease, gets to the rim with ease, finishes at ease. The best finisher in the NBA 2 years ago. And this was all, by the way, 2 years ago when he was running point guard. All right? Keep that in mind. Point Zion. And he's going to be a better defender than Kyrie. This was also, I think, the lowest I could go for James Harden. I know everybody's giving up on him. I know that everybody's given up on James Harden. I'm not ready to. Let me tell you. I'm not ready to. There's a very real chance he leads the league in assists this year. Still a great playmaker no matter what. And it's you watch him, there's a step that has been lost for sure. But he was still 99th percentile in isolation points per possession last year, which is kind of crazy considering we're all like, yes, Harden lost a step a little bit, and it was still that. it was still as good as that. Man, they fucked up. If the Rockets won a ring, the Harden discourse is so different. The Harden discourse is different. The heliocentric offense discourse is different. Man, and they shit their pants. Like there's no heliocentrism. Like that's why they lost. No, they're about to beat the greatest team of all time and then shit themselves in embarrassing fashion. He's going to be really good this year. I mean, they're going to be really good this year. If they're not, Doc, see ya. Enjoy working at ESPN. Like, there's a chance Doc Rivers is calling an NBA playoff game in April for ESPN if this doesn't start off hot. Zion is literally Superman, but also literally Mr. Glass. Yep, that's unfortunate, but it's true. 27 straight missed threes, yeah. Yeah, and Chris Paul, injury-prone ass, and perennial choker himself. That actually, you know what? I would have hated for the Rockets to win because it's a Houston thing. But in retrospect, I wish they did. I was ready to fire off so many Harden takes. Like, my Harden was better than Wade. Takes were just ready to go immediately. I was like, yep, well, good thing Harden got a ring against one of the greatest teams of all time in the Western Conference Finals. Better than Wade. But you can't do it now. One of the best offensive, like, peaks the league has ever seen. Harden, Paul, best choking pair of all time? Yeah. I forgot who it was. Somebody was saying how, like, Harden has to, like, luck into a good playoff performance at some point. Like, just at some point, the law of averages, at some point, he's just going to have a good playoff performance. It just has to happen. I'm trying to remember who said that. I think it was Ryan Russillo. I wish they won because I do believe in that system working, to be honest, even if it's not aesthetically pleasing to everyone. Yeah. I mean, the reason why it doesn't work often is because there's very few players in NBA history who can do it. And Harden at his peak was one of those guys. Luka's one of those guys. LeBron's one of those guys. But LeBron's just so good off ball too. Like, you don't really want to do it. I don't hate the Rockets, man. I can't see why it's considered a rivalry. It's really not been a rivalry because they haven't been good at the same time. Like, it's a rivalry in the sense that it's Houston and Dallas. They're in the same division. But very rarely do they cross paths as being good at the same time. It's very rare. Even like in the T-Mac, Ryan Russillo known Suns had COVID. Yeah, I was listening to their fucking... Dude, that's so dumb that they believe that. I'm sorry. If you believe that, you have brain damage. Like, how is that a theory people believe that the Suns had COVID in Game 7? How is that even possible? It's just Rockets fans shitting on Wood, coping knowing he's going to be elite here. I mean, there's been, like, back and forth before. I remember the Mavs played them in the playoffs and got beat 4-1. But it was, like, during one of the Monte Ellis years. I think it was, like, 2014 or something like that. No. Yeah, it was. Wasn't it the Rondo year? Right? The Rondo year was against the Rockets, wasn't it? But they were way better than the Mavs. Like, the 2000s with T-Mac and Yao, like, that was great. But the Mavs are way better than them. Again, this is Anthony Davis. It's hard to have him lower than this. It just is. What we saw last year for him was gross. But he looked good last night, I'll tell you that. I was watching. Woo! The Spurs was a real rivalry. This has to be the lowest you can go for Anthony Davis, I think. Would you rather have Kleba or PJ Tucker? Man, give me Maxey. I mean, they're pretty comparable. I'll just rather have Maxey. I have a grown attachment to him. We're grading based off prediction? Yeah. And I have to factor in injuries with him. I just do. Same way I'm doing. By the way, if Zion was healthy, like if I knew Zion was going to be healthy, he's probably even higher than whatever I had him, 19th. Same with AD. If he's healthy, he's higher than this, but I have to factor in injuries with him. Anthony Davis is down a top 20 player? Yes, for sure. Like, you can't go lower than this. If you go lower than this, you're predicting him to miss, like, most of the season. One thing the NFL does better than NBA are rivals. NBA does player rivalries more than anything else. Is AD a Batman or Robin? Definitely a Robin. AD with no injuries wins 6 rings in a row with Luka. Holy shit, yeah, that would be sick. That's a great pairing right there. Very interesting scenario though. If this Lakers team is bad, do they like? Is it just move on time? I always think about that. But anyways, I mean, you know who Anthony Davis is, right? He's incredible if he's on the floor. We know that. Wasn't incredible last year, but we'll let that slide. Whatever. This was way higher than I thought I was gonna go with Cat. I'll be honest with you. This is way higher than I thought I would end up with Karl Anthony Towns. But my God, his offensive numbers are unreal. Like, it's just, he's such a weapon offensively. Such an unbelievable weapon offensively. The only thing with him is definitely, it's just playoff stuff. It just is playoff stuff. That really is what it is. I think Cat's a top 20 player. Let's just, this is a center we're talking about here. All right, let's look at some of his numbers. 97th percentile in points scored per 75. 97th percentile points over expectation. 96th percentile as a shooter. 41% from 3. 69th percentile as a creator on 3-point shots, which is great for a center. 92nd percentile as a rim creator. 93rd percentile as a playmaker for a center. He's just so good, man. 87th percentile points per possession on post-ups. 94th as a roll man. 87th on post-ups. I said that twice. 100th in isolation. 80th off screens. It's just insane, man. And it's not as bad. He's not as bad of a defender as some people think. It's not great, but as a center, he's not as good as you want. As a 4, maybe. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. AD greater than Cat, but I put my money on Cat being better this season. I think that it's really just kind of injuries. I mean, obviously a healthy AD is better than Cat. And it's just for Cat too. It's the offensive stuff, or the postseason stuff is just weird. Like, he had some great moments in the playoffs, but then some horrible ones. Like, it's like he's he's Joey Gallo out there. It's either gonna be a 500-foot home run or he's striking out in embarrassing fashion. Yeah, no, definitely a decent big man passer for sure. He's just a fantastic offensive player. Like, he can like get in his own head too often. You really think I don't have LeBron in my top 10? I mean, seriously. 15 is Devin Booker. I can't get the top 10 with him at all. Like, I know a lot of people want to. I know, like, he's on all of the NBA seasons almost here. It'll be like Jokic and Luka and Giannis all in the front, and then Devin Booker in the background. Hey guys. Hey. Like, they're really trying to push it. I can't get. After that series, I can't believe he got 2K cover. I'm sure that was in the works way before. I can't get even close to top 10. I know 15 is close to top 10, but it's really not. Does that make sense? Booker's a guy who probably one day has to realize he's a better version of Middleton-style Robin. No, I think Booker's an okay Batman, but just okay. It's much better when he has like a guy like Chris Paul on there. Honestly, I mean, Booker's a great player, man. He's a top 15 player in the league, in a stacked league. Like, I don't want to sit here and shit on him. I specifically made it a point in my brain. I'm gonna try not to shit on guys because this is a top 100 list. If you make the top 100 list, you're a good player. So I'm trying not to shit on guys. I think the only guy I've shit on so far is Ayton, and I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that one. Booker, I have to just respect him because he's a good player. Like, he just is. Uber efficient player, considering his volume and considering his shot diet. I mean, one of the crazier shot diets in the league, but it just works. Like, he gets so fucking high on his jump shots. It doesn't make sense. A defender will be right in his face, but it's just such a high release. Now, he's definitely an all-star. He's definitely an all-star. All-NBA first team? No. Did he make that? He did, didn't he? No. I mean, MVP? No. Booker's a Batman, but a Robert Pattinson Batman? What's that supposed to be? That's a compliment. Robert Pattinson was fantastic. All right? He's more of like a George Clooney Batman, right? No. That one's too harsh. He's a Ben Affleck. He's Batflack. Where it's like, all right. Like, he's all right. You know, it kind of works. Batflack's pretty good. No, I don't have Jaylen Brown over Devin Booker. I just don't. Booker's Christian Bale Batman yells sometimes, but you're not really scared and you laugh at him. I wouldn't even go there, man. Those are some of the best superhero movies ever. Booker's a great player. Like, let's not get it twisted. 97th percentile in points over expectation. 97th percentile as a shooter. 97th percentile as a pick and roll ball handler. 92nd percentile in spot up shots. 84th as an isolation player. Again, kind of crazy considering his shot diet. 90th off screen. Plays off ball. Plays on ball. Good defender. Okay defender. Tries really hard. You got to give him credit there. Like, I think his defense is a little overrated by Suns fans, but he does. Like, he gives a lot of effort there. And you have to commend that. Where is she? Wait, who's Vampire Man? No, Robert Pattinson was great. Okay, he was an emo Batman, and it worked. He was in his emo era. I honestly don't even think Booker's overrated anymore. He gets shit on so much, I can't even say he's overrated. Next up is Paul George, one of my favorite players in the league. I know, there's like supposed to be a rivalry between the Clippers and the Mavs. I just don't feel it. I'm rooting for Paul George. I used to shit on him. It's funny, but now it's gone too far. Great player. Great number 2. A player that I worry will be forgotten about over time. I just worry. But I absolutely love Paul George. I mean, what is there to say, right? Good defender still. Maybe lost a little bit of a step there just as he's gotten older. But a good defender. Great player offensively. You already know what it is. It plays off ball, can play on ball. Fantastic number 2 option. Has no problem with being a number 2. There's so much value to be had in that. When a guy was a number 1 his whole career on great teams. Like, those Pacers teams were amazing. Then he goes to the Thunder, finishes top 3 in MVP, and then goes to Clippers. Like, yeah, I'm cool with being number 2. Like, I'm all right with that. That mean, like, I don't care. I'll do it. Super valuable. I love that. I root for Paul George. I really do. And obviously, there's the health concern with him too. I'll never forget when Seth Curry hit the tough layup on Paul George and called him a bitch ass. Yeah, that was a little bit wild, calling Paul George a bitch ass. Seth Curry calls you a bitch ass. It's a little bit crazy. I wouldn't mind being a number 2 either when I make more than the number 1. That's true. Yeah, his game's incredibly smooth. That's why, like, anytime like a 6'7" or 8" guy knows how to move at all, think Cam Reddish is like fluid at all. They're like, Paul George. That's Paul George. And dude, Cam Reddish sucks. I'm sorry. I watched that Knicks game last night. Oh my God, he's terrible. He might be out of the league. That's harsh, but holy shit, man, he's not good. And I don't want to say I told you so, but I did. 13 is where I have Ja Morant. This is a good placement for him. This is very fair for Ja Morant. Great player. Probably the best finisher in the NBA last year. 100th percentile in rim creation, was the best in the league at that. And 100th percentile in finishing, also the best in the league at that. 91st percentile. And his offense in the half court is way better than people think it is. Not a good defender. And obviously, you do have the very weird on-off numbers, but I won't even like get into that. I don't really care about that stuff. I want Jaws a number 2 just because I enjoy watching him. Jaws a number 1. Like, he just is. He can be a number 2. He's a good off-ball player. Cut. Spot up, I think is okay. Jaws too low. Come on, Slight Bites is not cool, man. Who would you put him ahead of? Like, you got to understand, everybody ahead of him is like a legitimately great player. And Ja's a great player too. Like, I'm not sitting here like Ja 13. Haha, fuck him. Like, where else would you put him? Would you put him over Jimmy Butler? I would not do it. I'm sorry. I've seen Jimmy Butler go fucking sicko mode too many times in the playoffs. I've seen it happen too many times where it just doesn't make sense. And it is still every year, like, Jimmy Butler is still insane. Insanely good in the playoffs. Oh, Manny, you're out of your mind. No. Jimmy Butler's just good, man. He just is. I mean, his play style is so strange. He's not a good shooter, but occasionally and in huge moments he is. Despite the fact that his scoring isn't the greatest, he gets every single call. It's infuriating sometimes to watch, but hey, the game is the game. Still a good defender, a great playmaker. How do you not love Jimmy Butler, man? I mean, really. if you want to put Ja over Jimmy, I wouldn't like argue with you. But I just think Jimmy is. I think Jimmy's pretty good. Like, if you want to say Ja's better than Jimmy, I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you. I'll be like, okay, that's fair. To each their own. Let's not forget about this next guy on this list, and everybody is. Every single year this guy plays and is healthy, he is better than Jimmy buckets right now. In my opinion, Ja can take over games. Jimmy can't, like Ja with his scoring. Dude, Jimmy's taking over games in huge games, man. I don't know if you watched the last postseason. Jimmy can take over games in a way that, again, it shocks you because everything tells you he's not a good shooter. But he will just literally do shit in huge moments in huge games where you're just like, oh my God, Jimmy Butler is a fucking dog. Like, holy shit, man. I mean, if you want to have Ja over Jimmy, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. Don't forget about Damian Lillard. Every year this guy plays, he's right around, if not in the top 10. One of the best offensive talents the game's ever seen. One of the best shooters the game has ever seen. Here was his numbers 2 years ago. Okay, last year he was dealing with the abdominal stuff the entire season he played. Right here it is. Are you ready for this shit? 100th percentile as a shooter, 100th percentile in shot creation, 100th percentile in shot making, 97th percentile in rim creation, 91st percentile in finishing, 95th percentile as a playmaker, 100th percentile as a pick and roll ball handler, 99th percentile in spot ups, 100th percentile in isolation points per possession, 94th percentile off screen, 100th percentile in points over expectation. This guy's fucking amazing. Damian Lillard is so good. And also, the last time we saw him healthy for a full season, they made the playoffs. The Blazers ended up losing that game because CJ McCollum, his brain shut off in overtime. But Damian Lillard was at 60 points in that double overtime game against the Nuggets, and he hit that game-tying three from the logo, literally. I love Dame, one of my favorite non-Mavs to watch, and I respect his stance on staying in Portland. I do too. I mean, yeah, I've talked about this before, but this whole idea that superstars are always leaving, it's really not that true when you really look at it. Like, there's some guys, of course, and it feels like the guys who leave are bouncing around a lot, but a lot of guys stay. Like, we're going to see in the top 10, a lot of these guys have been on the same team their whole careers. Granted, some of them are younger, but yeah, I'm not a big believer in this Portland team, but I still, like, Dame is still incredible. That's why I had such a hard time ranking them. I ended up putting them 12th, but, like, if Dame is there and healthy, he's going to drag them. He just is. Incredible player. Yep. He's top 10. Top 10 in the league. He's a top 10 player. He's a top 10 player in the NBA. And you literally can't convince me otherwise. You can't convince me that a top 4 offensive player isn't top 10 in the NBA. Only the second player in the history of this great sport. Only the second player in the history of this great sport to lead the league in total assists and points. Last playoffs, though, yeah, he was bad. His whole team sucked. So what? Listen, I know we're spoiled as Mavs fans. Luka, knock on glass. Every year in the playoffs, this guy just ascends. Most guys don't do that. And every now and then a guy will have a terrible playoff series. I mean, Jimmy 2 years ago against the Bucks when they got swept was horrible. Trey is better than Ja. I mean, all these guys are close. Like, I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, Trey is 10, Ja's 13. Trey's a million times better. No, it's not. He's not a million times better. But this guy is an offensive player. It's actually unbelievable. Like, I do like watching the Hawks play. I think, let's just look at some of the numbers, okay? Trae Young, 100th percentile shooting, 100th percentile shot creation, 95th percentile on catch and shoot threes, which is huge because he's now playing with another legitimately good playmaker. 94th percentile rim creation, 92nd in finishing, 100th in playmaking. I think he led the league in that stat. 97th percentile as a pick and roll ball handler, points per possession, 99th on spot ups, 95th on isolations, 98th off screen. This guy as an offensive player is insane. Like, it is insane. But his defense is booty juice. So is Jaws. Like, if you're comparing Trey and Jaws defense is bad. Like, I don't know why Ja, like, if you're comparing Ja, I don't want to, again, this is a top 100 player list. I'm really not trying to shit on guys. I'm really not. I love Ja. Trey, LeBron, and Joker actually had a worse supporting cast than Luka last season if you count injuries. Well, yeah, the Lakers were terrible. Duh. They sucked. Yeah, I feel like that's fair. Yeah, that's very fair. I don't know if that's saying a lot, man. The Mavs have a good supporting cast. I mean, Ja, since he's so athletic, yeah, he's going to have insane, like, block highlights and stuff. Tatum is here at 9. Feels fair for him. Very interesting postseason. Very interesting postseason. It's just kind of weird the Celtics went as far as they did. I mean, it speaks to how good they are defensively. But it's kind of weird how far the Celtics went, considering, like, Tatum had moments where it was horrible. Jaylen Brown had moments where it was horrible. I take Trey slightly over Jimmy or Ja, but would put Dame over him. That's pretty fair, but we haven't seen, like, Dame missed pretty much the entire season last year, so I factor that in. But Tatum has to be here. Elite two-way guy. And if you're an elite two-way guy, you're top 10, I feel like, automatically. You know? Is there an elite two-way guy that's not top 10? Healthy two-way guy who I don't have in my top 10? Maybe Jimmy. Like Paul George, health issues. AD, health issues. Yeah, Chris Middleton being healthy in the playoffs changes things a lot, man. Like, you got to give Giannis a lot of credit for how he carried that team. Tatum's going to have a rough year this year, in my opinion, because everything going on. I mean, we'll see. The value of a team being built well through the draft and smart transactions. Yep. He's not that guy. No, Tatum is that guy, man. He's good. What happens with the Celtics roster if they get bounced early? Good question. Like, Jaylen Brown will be an impending free agent, not this season, but next season. And that's going to be interesting. Tatum at 9. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you guys forever because I can just see all of you guys don't like it. Here's where I have LeBron at 8. It's not really like anything on LeBron declining. It's more like the top 7. The top 7 in the league right now is asinine. It just is. Literally, it's nothing against Bron. Bron was insane last year. But he's also getting older. And that's what I had to do. Bron's just going to be like 10 years older than any other guy ahead of him. LeBron greater than KD? I'm sorry. I'm going to have to tell you no. Like, when we get to KD, I'll read off some stuff. His season last year was fucking absurd. This is a good spot. Too low, sorry, but KD and Kawhi are not better than Bron. I mean, it's neck and neck. Like, it's not like any of these guys have huge separation over the guys. That's why tier lists are way better. He's on more shit than Barry Bonds, and no one talks about it. Yeah, that's okay. I want players to be on HGH. I just do. All right? And guess what? Barry Bonds is my favorite athlete of all time. Yeah, Barry Bonds rocks. I love him. Take all the fucking steroids. Listen, I really wanted to put Kawhi in my top 5. I absolutely did. If he's healthy and plays a full season, he's a top 5 player. I said yesterday that Kawhi is probably the closest thing the NBA has to like a true 99 overall. Where he's a great scorer. He's a great a defender. He's a pretty good playmaker. Can play off ball. Like, just pretty much does everything. But the last time I saw this man play with my eyes, holy shit, the playoffs he was having were shaping up to be even more historic than his Raptors run. Like, they were shaping up to be one of the greatest postseason runs in the history of the game for an individual player. And unfortunately, he fucking tore his ACL. I mean, the Clippers win the finals that year if he's healthy. I will, to this day, I'll die on that hill. I will always repeat the stat. In the Mavs series, the 4 games the Clippers won, Kawhi Leonard did not miss a single shot in the fourth quarter of those wins. 100% from the field, 100% from the free throw line, Didn't miss anything. Dude, that is incredible. That is incredible, and it speaks to how good Luka is too, because Luka was hard carrying that series, and Kawhi had to enter absolute God mode to pull it out. The complete player like Barry Bonds used to be. That's right. Barry did it all. He really did turn into Michael Jordan. Like, if you were an old head, that was probably the closest thing you've seen to MJ since MJ. It was almost like it was almost like you had to respect it as a Mavs fan. It was heartbreak. It was heartbreaking and crushing. But you almost had to be like, wow. I mean, if you lose to that, you lose to that. It was the best performance I've ever seen from somebody. And Luka was amazing in that series, but wow. Yeah, I don't know if I can say peak Kawhi is better than peak LeBron. I don't believe that, but he will have a big what-if career. If he's healthy his whole career. This is what I was just talking about, man. Get Devin Booker out of this group and put Luka in. I will say, Mavs fans getting like butthurt about this is a little bit lame. Like, Mavs fans getting butthurt about Luka not being in here is lame. I'll just be honest. Oh. Put Kawhi in 1 if you want. I can't say anything after we did Mavs. That's exactly how I felt. That's exactly how I felt. Like, you could have told me anything about Kawhi after that series. I'm like, yeah. You could have said Kawhi is the greatest athlete in the history of the world, even going back to the Roman Olympic days. I'd be like, yep, that's fair. You could have said you could have said Kawhi would have won every single gladiator pit he ever fought in if he lived in ancient Rome. I'd be like, yep, he probably would have. I mean, he actually probably would have. Think about it. Like, they were all like fucking 4'8" at the time, right? They were all small shit. Bro, LeBron averaged 28 and 56% shooting. Yeah, LeBron was amazing. Come on. That was a fun series. Damn. If Luka pulled that out. Kawhi would have been Zeus, yeah. KD series against the Bucks was also crazy. Yeah, at 6 I have Embiid. Feels like a fair spot for him. Right outside the top 5. You want to put him in the top 5? I'm cool with that. Embiid's great. Fantastic player. You know, at a certain point, he's going to have to perform in the playoffs. But as it stands, fantastic player. The engine offensively for the Sixers, and defensively the anchor. Very rarely do you see that. But Embiid is him, man. He's just good in the regular season, right? I understand in the playoffs. I get it. He's had injuries. But at a certain point, he's had them every single fucking postseason. And Sixers fans want to be like, oh, no, man, it's just freak injuries every time. Really? Every time? Every single postseason? What year was that where he missed 2 separate games because of a tummy ache? I don't think Embiid's overrated. I don't. I think he's pretty properly rated. Let's look at some numbers. Defensively. 96th percentile in percentage of rim shots contested. 89th percentile in rim defensive field goal percentage. 88th in blocks. 100th in rim protection. 94th in defensive box score plus minus, if you care about that stuff. 100th in points. 90th in true shooting. 100th in isolation per 75, right? ISOs all the time. And he's 93rd in isolation efficiency. That's just crazy stuff. He's a great player. He's a great player. Yeah, the tiers is crazy, but nope, Durant's not 5. It's Steph. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to put Kawhi in my top 5 and have Steph outside of it. I love Steph. Obviously, he's incredible. Just won Finals MVP. He's really, really good. The best shooter of all time. The best off-ball mover of all time. He's not a system quarterback. He's insane. Would have been insane anywhere. But yeah, that's exactly right. You can't have Steph outside of your top 5. You just can't. I don't think he's the best player in the league. I just don't. I think everybody above him in this list just does more. Just does more. And that's, I mean, like, again, I'm trying not to shit. I'm not shitting on Steph. Steph is incredible. He's amazing at what he does. The most gravity in the league, maybe. Some people say that. I don't know. A lot of guys have a lot of gravity. Like, it feels like you either have the gravity where everybody's focusing their attention on you or you don't. But he is in a perfect system. He does have another player on his team that basically runs the offense. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I understand pushing him as the best player. He just won Finals MVP. Like, I get it. I understand it completely. So, I don't agree with it. I do agree. You can't have him outside of your top 5. But I can only go 5. Steph is great, but in reality, he was playing below his standards. No, yeah, I mean, he in the regular season, he had a down shooting year. And even then, he averaged 37% from 3, which is still insane efficiency considering his shot diet. Like 37% from 3, you look at that, you're like, oh, yeah, that's all right in today's NBA. But then you consider the amount of threes Steph is shooting and, like, the absurd difficulty on all of them, and you're like, holy shit, that's insane. And it just speaks to how amazing Steph's been throughout his career, that 37% from 3 is, like, considered a down year for him. You know? But he's amazing, man. He's amazing. Being top 5 is not. I think I tweeted this once because there was some like top 5 that had was it the ESPN one, right? Didn't the ESPN one have him top 5 actually? Like number 5? Yeah, it did. Wow, that's right. And I remember everyone was up in arms. And I tweeted, I was like, dude, being top 5 in today's NBA is not. That's not a slight. Like, it is an insanely talented league with literally some of the, like, I wouldn't say GOAT potential, but generational level players at their position. So being top 5 is not it's not a knock. Number 4 is Kevin Durant. Dude, I can't go lower. I'm sorry. Let me just, first and foremost, I know the Nets had like a down year. They were on like a 50+ win pace when KD played. When KD was on the floor, they won games. They were like 36-18 or something like that when KD played for them. When he didn't play, they literally shit in their diapers. All right. I know. I mean, the Celtics clamped them up. That is what it is, right? That was an insane defense, but you got to point the finger a little bit. But here's his regular season numbers: 99th percentile in points, 93rd in true shooting, always been an uber efficient. Did he go 50, 40, 90 last year? Did he go 50, 40, 90? 50? No, 38% from 3. But still, 30 points on 51% from the field, 38% from deep, and 91% from the free throw line. I mean, what the hell? What the actual hell is that? 97th percentile in isolation frequency, 100th percentile in points per possession, 96th percentile off-screen frequency, 98th percentile off-screen points per possession, 79th percentile post frequency, 100th percentile post points per possession. I mean, you get the drift. You see what we're getting at here? 98th percentile is a playmaker too. Yeah, his series against the Bucks was historic. Somebody had to lose that series, unfortunately. That's low-key one of my favorite playoff series of all time. I love that series. That was so much fun. But I'm sorry, man. 30 points on that efficiency, you can't be lower than 4. You just can't. You absolutely can't. KD's has some of the worst intangibles in the league, and rightfully too. Top 4, I agree. What does that even mean? Worst intangibles? Dragic was the 3rd best player on this team last playoffs. Yeah, dude, the Celtics knew exactly what to do, and those games were still kind of close. That was my best prediction of the entire postseason. Because remember, everybody was like, "Oh my God, can the fucking Nets beat the Celtics?" I remember being like, I don't think this series is close, and I picked the Celtics in 5. That was the best prediction I had the whole postseason. Yeah, KD's an ISO god who's 6'11". I don't know if you'll ever see another player like him. Every tall player who can dribble a little bit gets compared to him. Right, Chet. Now Wembanyama has gotten compared to him. We might not ever see a guy like that ever again. Top 3. Woo! Bi can't do it like Kevin Durant, man. He just can't. Great player though. Who do you think I have at number 3, guys? Who do you think? So it's no secret who's left. Yeah, it's definitely Jokic. Unicorn in every sense of the word. There will never be a player like him again. Yeah, it's tough to say. Hopefully the NBA is around forever, and if that's the case, law of averages, there will be a player like Jokic again. But very deserving of his MVPs. Back-to-back MVP. Just an absurdly good player. I mean, I don't know. Like, what is there to say about Jokic? It has been said a million times already. His passing is unbelievable. He might be my favorite player to watch in the league, which is funny because people are like, it's always funny. I've ranted about this a trillion times, but all the people who are like, oh, the fucking stat nerds. The stat nerds love Jokic over Embiid. The fucking stat nerds. It's like, dude, do you watch? Like, I know what the stats say about Jokic. I know the stat nerds can be a little bit annoying about Jokic, but do you watch him play? Like, just watch him play. You watch him play for 10 minutes, and you're like, yep, okay, there it is. It's like, yep, there he is. No, the funniest nickname Jokic has got is Stretch Mark 5. A beautiful, ugly game. That's the best way to describe it. It's so wonky. It's so herky-jerky, but then he'll make a pass, and it's like the most beautiful thing you've ever laid your eyes on. Or he'll spin around like... and then we'll hit like a hook shot. Yeah, same exact speed too. Same exact speed. And you're like, this is getting blocked. Nope, it's going in. And here's why. Look, here's my argument for Luka over Jokic. I've mentioned this whenever I rank the best offensive players when it came down to Luka and Jokic. There are moments. Despite Jokic's greatness, and he is great, there are moments though where you want him to do more. Like there are moments where it's like, Jokic, man, you shouldn't leave the game with 6 shots. You know, you shouldn't leave the game with 6 shots. And there are moments where he does that. And you get it, because he wants to be uber unselfish. And he is. Like he's the most unselfish. His touch stats are interesting, right? But his usage rate is so low, comparatively speaking, because he just passes all the time. But he has so many games. Like, let me pull up game stats. 5 games from last year where he attempted less than 10 shots. That should never happen. And there's just still moments like that. Like if we just go to Luka, for example. And it's not like those are in blowout wins either. Like some of those are in losses. Yeah, that shit's never happening with Luka. Never ever. Interesting though, in all of his lowest shooting games, my God, like we're at 17 already. And when you're like that talented offensively, I want you to shoot a lot. I get like not wanting to be heliocentric, but yeah, he's a pass first player by nature, but he's such a good scorer though that it's like, hey man, sometimes you got to go out there and you got to put up 20 shots. I said the word? What word? Yeah, Luka's got that fuck you in him. So does Jokic though. But it's not like I'm talking shit to you, but there is the fuck you. I didn't say heliocentric. Did I say heliocentric? I think I did say heliocentric. But that's the thing. I want like Jokic to be heliocentric. And it's a much different brand for him. He's got great off-ball players. But yes, there are moments where he should shoot more. That is literally my one gripe. And then you have the defensive stuff. But offensively, that's literally my one gripe. If that's your only gripe about a player, that's not a bad gripe to have. That you should shoot more. Sometimes, right? Sometimes. I'm just going to die on the hill that heliocentric is a good play style and Luka's going to win with that play style. I mean, as I said earlier in the stream, the reason it's just very rare that you have offensive players good enough to do it. I went to the Texas State Fair and got Reggie's autograph. Oh, nice. He's there. That's cool. I'm gonna go at some point to that exhibit. I need to. I think I'm gonna go next week. No one's ever used the word heliocentric before Luka. No. It was very big with Harden. It was very big with Harden. Okay, top 2. We know who number 2 is, right? Who is it, guys? We know who number 2 is. I just couldn't do it. No, I couldn't do it. Sorry. Luka. Yeah. I just couldn't. I tried. I really did. I tried my hardest. I tried my hardest to not be the biggest homer of all time. Giannis at number 2. And you know what that means. Man, I don't give a fuck. Let's have fun. Huh? Let's have fun. Let's have some fun. Why not? Well, I sit here and poured literally probably dozens of hours on this top 100 list over the course of the last month. I'm putting my guy number 1. I don't give a shit. All right? Obviously, we love Giannis. I mean, he's going to go down as a top 10 player in the history of the game. There's no denying that in my mind. From what I've seen, it just is what it is. His ability to change games on the defensive and offensive end. Oh, okay. Top 10 is a little much. Maybe. But it's very rare that you've seen a player like Giannis who can completely dominate a game on both ends of the court. I mean, completely utter domination too. It's not like, oh man, he's doing good on both sides. Like, he's murdering your family offensively, and then also burning your house to the ground afterwards defensively. It isn't crazy. Luka number 1 is not crazy. Here's just some numbers for Giannis, right? Just look how fucking stupid it is. 99th percentile in defensive box score plus minus. 99th percentile in rim defensive field goal versus expected. 100th in points. 93rd in true shooting. 99th in finishing. 98th in playmaking. 99th pick and roll man points per possession. 97th in post up. 93rd in ISO. 97th in cuts. 98th percentile as a rebounder. Guy's incredible, man. I mean, what is there to say? He's definitely in this tier where it's like, well, if you're going to give the MVP to the most valuable player, it's Giannis every year. But it's already, he's got his back-to-back one, so everyone's like, it's a little bit boring. Don't tell ball, don't stop. You know, like somebody who appreciates the craft, somebody who appreciates players grinding. How do you not fawn over Giannis? I mean, how do you not? How do you not appreciate what this guy does on a nightly basis, considering where he started, who he was as a player when he first came in the league? Like, how do you not fawn over that shit? But he doesn't shoot elbow jumpers enough. I didn't see the movie, no. I know it's his documentary. I can't tell you guys how much I hate sports movies. Like, I really can't even begin to describe how much I dislike sports movies. They're all bad. And even the ones that are good are bad. I won't name the names, but my God, recently I rewatched one of the legendary sports movies, and I was like, dude, this movie fucking sucks. I was like, dude, this movie's horrible. No, sports docs are fire, but it wasn't a documentary. I thought that it was like... No, Mighty Duck was fire. I mean, come on, Mighty Ducks was fire. All right, I'll make the exception at Mighty Ducks. Did I see Hassan Piker gushing about Giannis? Hassan was gushing about Giannis? I didn't know Hassan. Okay, documentaries are different. Hustle's bad. Didn't watch it. Rudy and Hoosiers were trash. Hated Hoosiers. Oh my God. Hated that movie so much. So boring. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. The movie I'm talking about is Remember the Titans. That's the movie in my mind. I rewatched it recently. I was like, dude, this movie's... I don't like it. So corny. Sorry, it's so corny to me. Oh my god. I think part of it is too, I hate football culture. It's so lame. Oh god. In baseball, we used to share a locker room with the football guys, and we just be like, what? Like they would do like some candle ritual before the games. It was so weird. So weird. And I'm not gonna lie, I watched White Man Can't Jump on a plane ride recently, and it's a good movie. I mean, it is a good movie, and I think a lot of it too is like just over time, like some parts haven't aged well, just like from movie making, but it's still kind of like. I watched, I was like, man, this was better than I thought this was better than I remembered. I never watched a Friday Night Lights show. Wasn't that more of like a? I mean, sports was happening, but it was more of like a. Yeah, like a teen drama. All right, number one's Luka. I mean, what do you want me to say, man? Like I said, I spent dozens of hours on this list. I'm putting my fucking guy first. You're out of your goddamn mind. You're out of your mind. Dozens of hours over the course of several months watching every single game from every single one of these players' careers. And let me tell you, Luka, offensively, he does everything. I mean, and I'm not kidding. Outside of playoff ball, I guess. But even then, you know what? I think he could do it. Why? Because do I have tape? Nope. Do I have numbers? Nope. Just because. All right? 99th percentile as a shooter, 99th percentile as a finisher, 100th percentile as a playmaker, 100th percentile in isolation points per possession, 93rd percentile as a pick and roll ball handler. Literally does whatever he wants. He's going to embarrass you in front of your friends, family, your girlfriend, your side woman. He's going to embarrass you in front of your children. And then not only is he going to do that, he's going to laugh at you and then look at your children and laugh at them. That's just how he is as a player, right? And it's funny because up until the Sun series, it was up in the air. It was like, okay, when he's laughing, is it like, oh man, I love basketball. I love basketball. Wow, do you see that shot? I love it. That was a great shot. I was like, is that what he's doing or is he laughing at you? No, he's laughing at you. We learned that. He's actually laughing at in your face. Disrespectful, has that fuck you in his game that I don't think any other player has in the league currently. His fuck you is insane, right? Talk shit to you in a myriad of different languages. It doesn't make sense. It shouldn't make sense, but it does. The moves that he does is insane. You're a sinner. I'm going to post you up just because. Like, I feel like embarrassing you. DeAndre Ayton getting the post. You're a sinner. You're 4 inches taller than me. You should be able to block the shot easily. It doesn't matter. I'm shooting a fadeaway over you. You're not good enough. Mikal Bridges, you're the best defender in the NBA. Come here. I'm going to embarrass you. Rudy Gobert, you're one of the best rim protectors of all time. Get on the perimeter and get this step back in your face. That should have iced game 4 and would have been a legendary Luka moment. You're going to double team me. I'm going to pass to a wide open guy. You're not going to double team me. It's a bucket. I mean, it's really insane what he does. It really is. Offensively, it's crazy. It's unbelievable. Off ball and his dribble handoff. That's true. You want to know what? You think the Mavs don't do off ball stuff with Luka? Watch the first play of every single quarter. It's a dribble handoff. Dwight Powell's getting fucking a lob. Guaranteed every time. And it works every time. The head nod, laugh to yell. Yeah. Oh. Fuck you. It's insane. I love it. Show up ball in defense? Don't need to. He's an okay defender. Why? Because I said so. We renting out B-dubs? Ticket prices went up 250% actually, Samuel. Jimmy does have the fuck you. He does have the fuck. I mean, a lot of players have the fuck you, but I'm saying Luka has the most. And also, yes, beyond everything else, great regular season performer. I mean, the back half of last year was insane. MVP level stuff, for real. He has ascended in the playoffs every single year. Not just like, oh, he's a little bit better efficiency-wise and stuff, but literally has ascended to a level. I mean, doesn't he lead isn't he the all-time leading points per game scorer in the playoffs? Or is he behind Jordan now? Either way. Every year. The past 2 years led the league in points per game in the postseason. Usage rate high? Sure. What else you gonna do? Let Reggie Bullock dribble? Love Reggie Bullock, but come on. Talking trash to opponents, fans, nothing like it. Coaches, second all time behind Jordan. Lucas still needs to overcome his whining and his antics with refs. Listen, that's so over. There are guys who are worse. There are guys who are so much worse. I get it. It's really annoying. Trust me. Like he is a bad whiner. It is annoying. I am not defending him on that front. But there are guys who are worse. Yeah, classic. Already a legendary. Already a legendary quote, right? Everybody act tough when they up. His conditioning is really what it is. I mean, every star whines to the refs. It literally is the same for every star. Yeah, his accent, but his English is actually pretty good. His English is actually really good. And he knows how to talk shit in English. I mean, that's a killer. That's like Kobe learned how to talk shit in Spanish. Like that's just like he's a killer, man. Everybody act tough when they up. Luka is just a Sheed fan? Is Luka actually a Sheed fan? Has he said that? That's insane if he is. You missed his KP playing? We had to ban KP's name in the chat. That was so annoying. And Boban. Luka will average 30 this year? I don't see it. I don't think he's going to try to score that much. On the Ben Simmons I always do Ben Simmons. On the Bill Simmons podcast, they're like, yeah, Luka 30 points. Luka 30 points. But then they're like, yeah, no chance he gets MVP. I was like, dude, if Luka's scoring 30 points, he's winning the fucking MVP. I'm telling you that. But he's not scoring 30 points. I don't think so. Yeah, Rasheed Wallace's beefs were always legendary. Man, Rasheed Wallace is just legendary in general. The originator of the ball don't lie. Luka averaged 28, 14, and 12. That would be something. Hey, I don't see Luka getting 30. Efficient 27, 29. Yeah, exactly. Maybe even less than that. Like 26, I'm cool with. 25, if we're adding like 9 assists. And it's efficient. And he's playing better defense. Like, I really don't mind the heliocentrism. I just don't. It works, man. It just does. It's how this team is built too, by the way. That's another thing I want to point out. Like, the team is built for that. It's not like the team brought in all these ball handlers like, Luka, please. Hey, Luka, please stop doing that, man. Bam, pick and roll. Yeah, play 5 out. Let Luka fucking get the mismatch he wants. And then let him score or let him pass to a wide open guy. That's just what it is. Yeah, if you don't believe you shouldn't be here, great quote, too. If you don't believe you shouldn't be here, and we believe. Oh my God. I wish I could fast forward to Monday, dude. I'm sorry, Wednesday. I just wish I could. I wish I could just sleep until Wednesday. I don't give a shit about the NFL. I don't want to watch, preseason maps tomorrow. Well, we're going to tune in, obviously. We're going to be streaming that, of course. Honestly, I think people underestimate how much damage those teams lost against the Clippers would have done in the playoffs. I know he lost in the first round, but dude, that Clippers team had no business losing to those Mavs teams, and my God, it was a war both times, like an absolute war. That's also why I'm really high on the Mavericks. You guys need to understand this. Continuity matters, and on top of continuity, they've been to war in the playoffs, man. Like this group, Brunson's gone now, right? But everybody else, they've been through battles in the postseason. Like they know what it takes. It's like how I feel about the Celtics too. It's like the Warriors. Like some of these teams have been to war together so many times. And it's like the Pelicans haven't. The Timberwolves haven't. That's why it's so hard predicting breakout teams. That's why it's so hard to pick like breakout teams, because continuity matters. It just does. It's a lame thing to say. Like, you want to pick breakout teams because it's fun. Oh my God. Hey, are we gonna? Oh, hey. Okay. Are we gonna get an influx of Argentinian fans on this channel? From what I understand, Argentina rides with Facu Campazzo. From what I've understood, and I just looked at my friend just sent me a text of a Mavs Instagram post, and the comment section was littered with the Argentinian flag, all of this stuff. I don't know if Facu's official. Nobody knows. European sources say yes. Nothing yet officially from like American guys, but as I was saying earlier, like it seems like the European guys would know more. If Lakers trade for Buddy and Turner, do you think they're considered? I mean, yeah. If LeBron and AD are healthy, sure, yes. Fringe, like very, very fringe, but for sure. And I don't love Buddy Hield or Miles Turner, but an Argentinian fan told Mavs room to suck. Mavs feel room to suck them. I've heard they're very combative. I'm a little bit worried. I'm not gonna lie. Like, hey, man, everybody's welcome here. But I've heard they're very combative, and I think I have a good rep with the Slovenian fans and other European fans, right? You guys know I ride for Luka Doncic. But man, if I say one wrong word about Goran Dragic, they don't like it, and I understand that. I do. I understand it completely. But man, I heard that they're a mean bunch. Which isn't a good sign because I can't imagine myself saying too many nice things about Facu Campazzo over the course of a season. Like, I got shit on for my Boban comment sometimes when I would just be like, guys, Boban's not very good. Which isn't, I wasn't even being mean. It was just like, hey guys, it's just not, he's just not very good. Love him. He's a great guy. What the fuck did you just say? Hold up, why don't they like Dragic? No. Slovenian fans love Dragic. That's what I'm saying. Like, I haven't been the biggest Dragic supporter. And during the offseason, I'm like, guys, I don't fucking want Goran Dragic, okay? He's old as dirt. And washed. And I would get a lot of shit. You gotta understand, Dragic is a Slovenian god who won MVP in Eurobasket, scored like 30 in the first half. In the final, he's our hero before Luka. No, I understand it. Trust me. I get it. I absolutely get it. I understand it completely. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. All right. Do we go over all these 100 players? No, I don't want to. You guys can go back and rewatch. I'm very happy I did this. I'm going to be honest with you. It was a lot of work. I thought I was going to not do it because it was a lot of work. But, I'm happy I did it. It's just fun. It's just fun to look back on. How long did it take you to grow out your hair? I mean, I haven't like cut my hair like short or gotten like a significant haircut in like probably 2.5 years, to be honest with you. Start of COVID, I had short hair. Actually, I would say like mid-COVID too, I had short hair. It took like 2 years. My hair grows pretty fast. But I've had long hair for like a year and a half now. So my hair got long in like a year. It's just I've just kind of like maintained it since. No. So Monday I'll be going live at 1 and we'll do, I don't want to do playoff predictions, but we'll do award prediction. We will do award predictions. And then Tuesday it begins. I'll be live for both games. Then Wednesday Mavs season starts. I'll be live obviously for that. We're going to be doing, it's going to be called the Slightly Biased Bounce Around. That's what it's going to be called. We'll be going live every single night. Every single night. Not every single night. There's going to be a schedule. We're going to go live, 6 p.m. Just watch the games. Hang out. Talk. Go over stuff. Prize picks it up. Gamble a little tiny bit. It's going to be a lot of fun. I literally can't wait. I'm so fucking excited. Yeah, it's not really a secret who I'm choosing for MVP, but, whatever. All right, ladies and gentlemen, very fun stream, very long stream. But this will be a lot of fun to look back on at the end of the year. I needed to do the prediction streams. I didn't do them last year. It just didn't happen. But I needed to do them this year so we could go back, look at it at the end of the season. See how it all ended up. Great stream. Thank you guys for coming out. Remember, you guys can always go back and rewatch these streams. They're available. They're out there. I try to put, after the stream is over, I put timestamps in them so you guys can go back and watch certain times or whatever if you missed some parts of the stream. I'm gonna do that on this one. I'll probably just do like top 100 players and then go like 100 to 90. I'm not gonna do each individual player. That would literally take forever. But thank you guys very much for showing up today. It was a lot of fun. Thank you all for your input. All of the OGs, you guys know I love you very much. Could have spent your Thursday afternoon anywhere in the world. You decided to spend it here with me. Great choice. I mean, you're so smart. New subscribers, I promise you guys won't regret it. We will be live tomorrow. What time does the game start? We will be live tomorrow at 7:45 p.m. The game starts at 8. We'll be live to watch it. It's gonna be it's gonna be the dress rehearsal. You know, they made cuts. I'm assuming this will be the most minutes any of the guys have played in the preseason. So you'll get a pretty good idea of what the team's gonna do come Wednesday. And then it's go time, man. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Enjoy your Friday. One more day in the weekends here, ladies and gentlemen. Love you guys very much. Goodbye.